Jackets from Stephen Berry's. Praying one day Big Red will win the NIT.
Ham is the water of meats.
Ham the water of meats.
Ham is the water of meats.
Someone needs for bacon.
Ham is the water of meats.
All right, let's welcome in our friend from Lincoln, KLIN's Jack Mitchell. Do you have a proverbial football that you want to spike in in your room there? You should be happy. I mean, this was the lesser of
two evils
or two risks or two bad lottery tickets or whatever your analogy was last
time. This was the decision I thought was the right one. I know a lot of people disagreed. I saw my tweet replies after my interview last week, urging you guys to hang up on me.
You are part of the majority, easily.
I think I probably am, but I don't know. I'm not jumping for joy because I think it's a bad situation. That's what I told you. I think both options were a little bit of hoping for a lottery ticket to some degree. And so I felt like this had the slightly better odds to get this program where I wanted it to be, but it was tough. So no, I don't feel like I'm I don't feel like I'm other than just I'm okay. I thought restructuring the deal made sense. We had talked about it on our show this morning. And there was just a whole bunch of response that essentially was Frost will never do that. It's terrible negotiation. Why would Frost ever do that?
Because he wants to stay there.
And he really wants to stay there. And I know my reasoning. I've given up on trying to convince people of my position on this. I won't, because there's a lot of feeling, and there's probably some of it that's a little bit irrational. But I think what frustrated me the most, other than not winning with Frost during the majority of his career here, and I said this to you guys a bunch, is it looked and sounded to me like he felt like he made the wrong decision to come here.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he operated that way. He seemed unhappy. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but that's a big deal to me. Like that's a big thing to me. It was a big thing to me when Bo was here. He felt like he was miserable the entire time that he was here. I may be wrong. I may be reading between the lines, but I guess the proof would be in the pudding here. It felt like at some point something changed after this offseason, after something. And that part of it is giving me maybe a ridiculous, wrong-headed hope that something is just different with him right now than it was when he started, just sort of in how he looks at the job, how he handles the challenge of the job, the whole beginning stuff of I was incredibly critical, the whole blaming the Riley staff all of the time, constantly blame shifting on all kinds of other people. I felt like that was kind of characteristic of where things were. For whatever reason, and again, reading between the lines, like it or not, there something, it sounds and looks different to me now. Okay, is that going to get wins? I don't know for sure. I mean, I really don't know for sure.
Well, it didn't this year.
But that combined with the progress I did see this year, and combined with the fact that he has been a very successful coach at Central Florida, that gave me the preponderance of, okay, there's enough there for me to want to not try and go through the process of trying to find someone. And then, and I think, frankly, the possibility of having someone new, which still may end up happening in 2 years, but the possibility of having someone new and having that coach come in and be 4-7 next year was, to me, the most disheartening thing that there could possibly be. That, to me, would be more rock bottom than anything else.
Well, that would suck too, because that means a game would get canceled if they're only 4-7.
But whatever. I never remember the amount of games. That's very confusing.
Jack, before I get to my question, Adam Rittenberg just tweeted out, Scott Frost will be back for the Huskers in 2022. Nebraska is expected to make several staff changes, most likely on offense. Sources tell Tom Van Haren and me. That's from Adam Rittenberg. So something we can certainly get into as the show rolls on. But I got a question from Rick that I thought was pretty interesting because it's really, I think it's the crux of this entire discussion right now. Once you get beyond, are you happy with this move or disappointed in this move? He says, do you think this is a 1 year show me results in 2022 or else scenario? As disappointed as I am, I think that Trev is making the wrong move in bringing him back. I do think if you're going to do this, you oddly have to go full measure. You have to say this is 2 years. He's going to get 2 more seasons. What do you think though that it will actually be? Do you think it will be we're going to ride this roller coaster again for another year, or we're going to give you 2 years and after that we'll decide?
You remember what I said when he got hired? And again, I remember how unpopular it is, but I thought it was important enough to really go through systemically and have some stability that I said, you keep him for a decade unless he commits a felony. And I thought that. Now, it's been a little bit harder. I really didn't think I pictured this situation.
I think you were probably assuming we were going to debate how good 9 wins are every year.
Yeah.
Like in Bo's era.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I don't know enough. I listened to a little bit of what Gary said in the crossover by the way, I was just taking a walk, planning my whole strong take on the World Herald editorial. I had so many good takes for this interview. I was ready, and then I'm taking my walk, and then all of a sudden listen to you guys, and you guys break the news on the crossover. But I don't know the things that, what Gary said, and I think he knows Trev probably better than any of us. That indicated to me, Josh, that maybe the common knowledge, the common thinking is, okay, yeah, this is 1 year, put up or shut up. But when I hear Gary talk about Trev that way, I don't know. He's talking about big systemic things that he thinks need to be fixed overall. I don't know what that is. I'm not inside there, but I wouldn't rule it out, Josh. I guess is what I would say with this. But
toxic to do another year like this.
You'll have a PR problem though at some point. I mean, at some point there's going to be enough of a PR issue that you can't keep doing that.
I'm really hoping at some point we get some answers to those questions. Like what is so busted up systemically that is causing Scott Frost to not perform as well at his job? Things that are out of Scott Frost's hands. Because you could easily look at Nebraska volleyball or Nebraska bowling, for crying out loud, and say, well, those teams don't seem to have any problems with how the athletic department was structured. They won when Osborne was the AD. They won when Peterson was the AD. They won when Eichhorst was the AD. They won when Moose was the AD. They're winning now. So I'd really like to know more detail of what those things are, because I don't see that. Yes, an athletic department being dysfunctional can cause issues, but it obviously wasn't so bad that other programs could not succeed.
Well,
that aside, I want to know, because you said it similar to what Trev said in his statement. What progress did you see this year? I'm not talking about this year compared to last year or this year compared to 4 years ago, but what's the progress this year that you think Trev Alberts is talking about in his statement and what you say you have seen?
I think a championship caliber defense is maybe the biggest one. A hunt for Nebraska has had since Bo's early days as head coach, and throughout most of the 20 years, that finding a defensive coordinator, finding a consistent defense has been the biggest problem, right? Probably the biggest problem with Nebraska football. It's been, you're going through defense quarters and they can't make it work and they can't do it. And you finally got that right now. No one will argue that there's not really something working with the defense right now. There's a part of me, that is probably the most influential thing with me right now. To me, getting that is harder than turning around the offense. It feels like that's been the case because so much is on the quarterback. And I guess that's the answer to your question. That's the biggest thing. And then, and again, I'm not celebrating, I'm not jumping up and down, but it is competing in all of these games against, playoff caliber teams, against top 15 teams in the country. So yeah, that's coming. Yes, it's coming close. I get it. You can tell me, Close doesn't count except for horseshoes and hand grenades. I got it. But when I am sitting back and evaluating the season and thinking about the season, it's ridiculous not to at least let that play in your evaluation. It doesn't mean it was a success, but if I'm sitting about, we had to look at where Iowa was. Well, that's the truth. You do have to look at what exactly happened in this season, and that's a part of it. Was it perfect? Was it anywhere close to the wins and losses record? But yeah, John, that factored in.
Jack, going back to the tweet from Adam Rittenberg, what do you want to have happen with the offense? I mean, I remember talking to you a couple of years ago. This was before Troy Walters was, ceremoniously pushed out, or whatever we want to use to describe it. You hate change. You don't want to see that kind of revolving door. It's obvious that something needs to happen with the offense, though. What do you do? You don't think it's obvious?
No. I don't know that I'm just saying you might not quite have characterized my position on change.
You wanted continuity, though.
I'm not that passionate about consistency among every single assistant coach.
Yeah. So what do you want to see on the offensive side of the ball? And what do you want to see with Adrian? Do you want him back for another year?
Man, I don't know. What's the alternative?
Transfer portal? And
okay.
Because here's
the alternative is that the coach that you decided was good enough to come
Josh,
back
I thought they should have
fixed the quarterback situation.
I thought they should have taken Joe Burrow, and everybody's killed me for it forever. I thought they should have taken Joe Burrow and let him compete.
Fair.
I thought Noah Vedral. I thought it was incredibly disappointing when Noah Vedral left. He's still left. How different would it be? So no, I don't. But you've got to have someone there. Okay, you've got to. Yes, there has got to be this idea. They didn't bring Burrow in because they didn't want to have that competition with Adrian. Adrian was the guy. I thought that was ridiculous at the time.
Yeah.
I thought it was ridiculous. Right when the time you're talking about competition is everything right now, and so yeah. I think you've got to quit. You've got to get quarterbacks in the room, and if the backups right now aren't it, then you've got to get somebody else in there who is. But to answer your question, yeah, I'd rather have someone better at this point. But I don't know that does that happen? Who is that? I don't know.
What do you think about the assistants?
You guys made a good point in terms of who you're going to be able to hire from these assistants. You got to change something about the offense. I don't know what that is, which coach it is. I don't know. The offensive line, to me, the offensive line doesn't get enough discussion as compared to Adrian, where the problems are this year. I think it's under discussed in this whole thing. Something has got to change. I think he's started to make some changes, but something has got to change with that. And I mean, I'd just be very surprised if the offensive assistants don't look different. Rittenberg just reported it. So yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that, I guess, if that's what your question is.
How concerning is it that, and listen, I understand why a statement came out today. They wanted to move forward one way or another.
They needed it for recruiting.
And they needed to do it for recruiting.
Yeah.
But Wisconsin next week, Nebraska's not winning that game. Iowa, who knows? I mean, what happens if it's 3-9? Does it make today look even worse? Or should we even be worried about that now that the decision has been made?
Yeah,
I mean, if they finally get that blowout loss somewhere in those two games, yeah, because that's one of the things that you're hanging on to. That's one of the things where progress was shown.
Do you think we would have seen today's statement had Ohio State laid it on Nebraska on Saturday?
I get the feeling just from reading between the lines that everybody knew going into this weekend. So,
and I don't disagree with that. I have said for the last couple of weeks, and I felt for the last couple of weeks, just judging by Frost's demeanor in his press conferences, he did not seem like an embattled coach. Now, some of that was the media did not Joe Jordan him with swooping in and asking him, if you were AD, would you fire yourself type questions. So that was part of it. But listening to him, he didn't sound like a coach who felt like he was necessarily fighting for his job.
Yeah,
that was my opinion.
Absolutely. Even with what he said sort of the soliloquy he went on after the game about I bleed for the program and the places he's lived. That
but named a bunch of small towns.
And then when we made the huge deal, or I didn't make a huge deal, but some people made a huge deal of the I hope we get it thing. I get the feeling he knew that he was getting it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's speculation. But to answer your question, John, I don't know. I don't. There's part of me that doesn't think this thing was completely thrown together in 24 hours here.
I'd be stunned if that were the case.
And I know that, the tenor during the game last weekend versus Purdue, the tenor during it and after from our cohorts in the media was completely different by the time Tuesday rolled around. And so I remember thinking, like on Saturday during the game, I thought, wow, everybody is on my side now. Like it really seemed like we are all kind of acknowledging that this is it. And by the time that Tuesday rolled around, I know there was a noticeable change. Now, maybe I'm just a psycho that reads so much into everything, but we're all trying to do that these days. But by the time that we got to Tuesday, I was like, wow, this is not the type of discussion that I thought that some would be having. And I felt like, once again, John and I were kind of on our own little island with things. But maybe that's just...
I think people got the sense it was coming. I mean, like you guys, like you said, Sip's not on your show today. I mean, I think perhaps there were some people who had a decent idea that this was coming today.
Yeah, and I mean, really, I mean, this weekend, I know we were all probably asking around, hey, have you heard anything? Hey, have you heard anything? There became, by the time that we got to late afternoon, early evening Saturday, and certainly all day yesterday, there was like these two camps of a statement is definitely happening and it's going to happen on Monday or Tuesday, or, brace yourself for nothing because this is going to go all the way to Iowa. And I'll be honest, I heard from more of the former people than I did the latter. There was some really tied-in people that I was talking to this weekend. I was like, there is going to be something that happens on Monday. And sure enough, those people ended up being...
I mean, we were texting about it all day yesterday, Josh.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
We were hearing it at that point.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, there was enough out there that made you wonder too. But now it all kind of makes sense now.
I love this from Scott. Let it go now. The decision's been made. GBR. All right. Never mind, everybody.
Never mind.
No
We're not going to react.
I
I love when people say that.
Go Big Red.
I love it when people say that. I guess we should at least broach it a little bit because it was weird to see the news editorial board of the Omaha World Herald.
They knew. They definitely knew when that came out.
Well, if that's true, that makes it look weak.
Yeah.
Right? To weigh in knowing, hey, this is the way the good decision is going to be. So I'm going to get out in front of this so we look like the good guy. And by the way, there are people in the media, both locally and nationally, who saw that and said, what in the world is going on? As someone who is a member of the lamestream left-wing liberal news media,
Jack Mitchell.
How did that editorial land with you?
Well, number one, like I said, after the fact, what time did it come out? Do we have a time stamp on when that thing actually dropped?
It was around noon.
Yeah.
I was making lunch. It was right before noon. I was finishing up
11:30, 12 o'clock.
Come on. They knew at that point. We talked to enough people who knew. The Omaha editorial board knew at that point. I would be very surprised.
Then that is pathetic.
Now, I saw a lot.
Good Lord. That's
I don't know if that, I mean, listen, it'd be weird if they didn't, given the amount of people that we think did know at that point, but whatever.
I mean, that'd be like saying that'd be like them, endorsing Trump.
That's what the editorial boards do
at midnight of election night when the election
about to be called.
Yes, that's what it would be like.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like you had some influence. I don't know.
But should it matter? Should it even matter if a news editorial board is weighing in on something like this?
Okay, I do not. Yeah, all the people new to this party of being mad at editorial boards taking positions on things is a little head spinning for me. John, you and I did an entire show on this. I don't know if you remember, but about 10 years ago, we said, hey, our radio newsroom doesn't get together with our news director and all these people and endorse candidates. Of course, we have opinion pieces, but to me, it's always been bizarre, way more bizarre, that editorial boards are endorsing candidates. And by the way, you look at, I don't know about the World Herald, but the Journal Star, guys, John, you know this. They write editorials on everything, on all kinds of local news issues. And I guess, the thought is I do a news talk radio show. Huskers right now are 80% of it, but I bounce around to other stuff too. And I'm giving opinions on news and things going on locally. And I said today, I think they should keep Scott Frost. So I think the editorial board thing is just an antiquated thing in general.
Yes, 100%.
Antiquated thing in general. But the fact that they went there on this, if it exists as it does now, to me, that wasn't, maybe you don't read the local the editorial board will take positions. John, remember the arena? Going up in Lincoln, you can just scads of that are not like endorsing candidates. There's tons of news issues, local issues that they'll step university funding. Everything.
From a personal standpoint, as someone who has been in the media, I'm always glad that we never had that at KLIN or here at 1620 The Zone, where we have an editorial board, because that makes my job harder as a reporter if I know that my management or editorial board swoops in and says, this is what I think about a certain issue. And then if I have to go cover that issue, then all of a sudden people look at me differently because the mic flag in my hand
says the name
represents one opinion or the other, which is why I think it's asinine that we have these editorial boards who do these types of things, because it makes life more difficult for the grunts on the street who cover the news.
It was designed for a time when information was a whole lot more difficult to get. And therefore,
opinion was difficult to find out unless you were sitting at the local pub.
And so you literally relied on these editorial boards to sort through the information that you did not have access to. And maybe that wasn't right either, but it made more sense then than it does now. Without a doubt to me. So I have a really hard time. Getting that up in arms that they went this direction. That's nothing new whatsoever, I don't think.
Well, breaking news today. I had this real
dude, we were going to do some fun bits with the editorial.
We were going to do a fun. Oh yeah, and then the whole thing just went.
Can I say something?
Graphics built and everything.
Now that he's here, which I said I wanted, that going for, I was in the stands saying it when it happened. Kicking that field goal was horrendous. It was
such a dumb decision.
It was like you're down 6. The math of it, you then need to get a second field goal. Getting 2 field goals seems so ridiculous. 1 touchdown either way would have taken the lead. Like, don't you have a card like 2-point conversions?
Yeah,
and that would even be if you usually make field goals. I heard.
I was right there with you. In fact, I thought they should have gone for it on the punt earlier in the second half, where it ended up in that weird halo violation, that kick catch interference. I thought they should have gone for it then.
Maybe,
because if you're going to beat a team, that is supposedly that much better than you, you got to steal possessions, and that was an opportunity to do that.
I feel better about them getting 1 touchdown out of 2 possessions than 2 field goals out of 2 possessions.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a bad decision. It it seemed like one right. And man, just the momentum that they had at that moment, it's tough. It felt like there was a bad throw right before it too. Falk. And this is the coach you want back next year, a guy who has fear of failure.
There needs to be improvements. Listen, I hope I'm right.
In addition to, we need a new offensive line coach, special teams coach. Can we also have a go for it coach? Their whole job is
me.
They're the ones that make the decision when to go for it.
Me. I said it before.
You're the go for it coach.
I also said it against Minnesota. They did the same thing. They kicked a field goal against Minnesota and missed it. And I was like, why would you be kicking a field goal? A field goal at this point is a lesser proposition than trying to go for it on 4th down with this team.
Yeah, along the lines of what John just said to you, if this is the guy you want back, I do have to laugh a little bit at this tweet from Mitch Sherman, because he just put out a column on the news. Scott Frost is coming back as coach, but items of major importance must be addressed at Nebraska, including problems with organization and attention to detail, player retention, development, and sagging momentum in recruiting. That's basically everything a head coach needs to do. Folks, Scott Frost is back, but he needs to fix some things. What are those things?
Everything.
Okay.
Not the defense.
Not the defense.
No.
Tell all the seniors are gone and maybe some coaches leave.
Yeah.
Hey,
No, I said this
reporting
much,
anything.
Jack. I believe this coaching staff will look radically different next year because not only will you be changing out some offensive coaches, you might lose some defensive coaches.
That's okay. Just hire Jason Peters and Grant Windstrom. They can take it over.
Okay, that's cool. We can do that. Well, Jack, thank you very much for joining us.
Sorry,
happy
Josh.
days.
Sorry, John. Sorry.
Hey, listen, it doesn't. I'm not going to lose a scintilla of sleep over this.
Here's what I will say, because I've actually had a lot of people actually say that to me.
Yeah.
Oh, congrats, you didn't get what you want. I want the program to be better at football. I don't think that the news of today will help them get better at football. That's what I want. I don't care who's in charge. I want them to be good. I want them to win games. I want them to compete for championships. The news of today does not make me think that they will in the foreseeable future.
And having a coach that no one was excited about or cared about go whatever 4 wins next year, to me, I just couldn't.
That probably would have been hell too.
I couldn't stomach it. But it may be 2 situations, and neither of us can stomach. And both of them would have happened or will happen. It's not a great situation when you hire your dream coach and 4 years in, it doesn't work. It's all not perfect, not outcomes that you're really wanting to deal with.
All right. Well, enjoy the week. It's a bye week.
Basketball tomorrow. Woo!
Hey, I'm going to the game. Well, hopefully. I asked about a credential for next week. I haven't heard back, though. I guess they got some stuff going on right now.
Yeah, there's a few things going on right now.
Yeah.
Certainly. All right. We'll talk to you next week. There he is. Do you want to make an editorial decision? You want to stay up on the video
for the rest of the show?
For the rest of the program?
Yeah, why not?
Do you want to?
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah,
we can do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
we'll do that.
Asking me.
I thought you were wanting to watch me react to everything you said for the.
Hey, Jack, do you want to stay on and watch us the rest of the show?
I might come back later. I got to get my daughter, but I'll pop in. It would be nice to have me as a studio audience reacting to everything.
You can laugh at our jokes. Oh, that's good. Yeah, thumbs down, thumbs up. Yeah. That's
it's
a good
like
idea.
One of those focus groups during a debate. I can show you how much I like.
Yeah, let's do that. That's that whole stupid thing, and then that shows the graphic. Oh, this is popular.
That'd be great. Let's do that sometime.
All right. That's Jack Mitchell. We will be back with more. And yes, we will stay up here on the video stream for the rest of the program. For those of you who are watching or want to watch, you can go to our YouTube page at 1620 The Zone TV and enjoy. And for those of you on the radio or streaming in other methods or avenues, stay with us because we're going to get to your calls, your thoughts. As Scott Frost, it has been announced, will be back next year. He will have a restructured contract. Details still to come on 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly sunny and breezy into late afternoon with the temperatures in the low and mid 60s. Skies will become mostly cloudy for tonight and lows drop back in the mid 40s. Clouds early, but then giving way to some sunshine for Tuesday afternoon with highs in the upper 50s. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
If you haven't been to school in a while, you might be surprised to see what it's like now. That's where we come in. We're Nebraska Loves Public Schools. We capture the strength and humanity of schools across our state. We make films. We make shirts. We share the stories of schools today. It's the heart of our work. Discover more at iloveps.org.
There's no denying social media has influenced the mental health of kids.
I'm literally living on my phone all the time. I felt as though if I didn't post for like a day, I would lose everything.
It's difficult for kids right now. They go home and it's constant. It's always there. It never goes away. They never turn it off. That's going to wear on you. That would wear on an adult.
Watch The Mind Inside, an I Love Public Schools film series on mental health. Episode 2 available now at iloveps.org.
Email Severin Benning on the Equitable Bank inbox with your love, your hate, or what you think about your hot takes. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you in the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
So then I dropped some garlic and croutons on there, and the rest is salad history. I made the best salad ever, people, and now I'm making the best app. The Caesar Sportsbook app got live in-game betting, parlays, and Caesar rewards. Caesar salad ain't got nothing on my app. Nothing.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. Your app is ready, Emperor.
Shop the Season of Inspiration sales event at Woodhouse Mazda today. Whether you're looking for a vehicle for your next adventure or an SUV with third row capacity for the whole family, the Mazda lineup has you covered. From the Mazda CX-3 to the Mazda CX-9, the Mazda family of crossovers is designed for the road ahead. Test drive one today at one of our 2 convenient Woodhouse Mazda locations in Bellevue or Omaha, or shop online today, making your car buying easy. This is Woodhouse.
Football season is here. Visit Discount Tire and let our pros take care of you, so you never miss a moment of the game. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online. Use Treadwell, your personal tire guide, to find the right tire for your driving habits and get the same expert advice that you get in the store. At Discount Tire, we take pride in making your experience with us as easy as possible. Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The hotline is powered by Lanahaw Nurseries, rooted in quality, unmatched value. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
Jamming the ball down our guys' throats. I'm just saying.
On 1620, The Zone.
So we're going to stay up on the video stream throughout the course of the rest of the program. It's on YouTube. We tweeted out a link a moment ago, so if you want to check it out, you can. Or, of course, you can always stay where you are, on the radio, on the app, on the 1620thezone.com homepage.
Are you having your camera off all day now?
Song. Oh, I just turned it off. Someone was asking, what is John's picture?
Yeah.
You don't recognize who that is?
That's Steve Peterson.
That is Steve Peterson. Here, let me zoom in on that. I don't know where I found this.
Probably
but
Facebook
somebody made
a
meme back in the early days of memeing.
Yes. Oh, I can
Someone superimposed Steve Peterson's head on a used car salesman's body. And you could see the giant, fat, meaty hand reaching out to shake your hand as he tries to sell you a lemon. And when I saw that picture for the first time, I thought that is the best representation of who Steve Peterson is. And so I have saved that picture and I decided to use it as my, when my camera's turned off, avatar. And now,
now you have to look at John.
Now you have to look at me.
Ryan says, come back, John. Your profile pic is terrifying. Also, Charles says, I'm excited for Grimm. He really gets to experience Nebraskans at their worst, and he just started a few months ago. Nick has had quite the few months of being our producer.
The really cool thing is I've lived here for 5 years already.
So you're used to it.
I'm
You're used
pretty
to it
used
to a
to it by
degree.
now.
Yeah. As expected, a lot of people are excited about the possibility of Scott Frost being back. Now, folks are either celebrating or bashing my opinion that I gave before Jack came on. But I believe the standard has now changed at Nebraska. Right now, the standard is we would rather lose with friends than try to win with strangers. And that's not guaranteeing, by the way, that Scott Frost is going to lose. It's just of those two options, which is what today's announcement was about. Today's announcement was either about, do we continue to bring back what we have, knowing that what we have right now has been a losing proposition? We would rather take the risk to lose with friends, aka familiar folks, aka alums, aka Scott Frost, then cut ties, go out, find, and it's going to be someone who likely doesn't have any Nebraska ties, just because that pool of candidates is so thin in the coaching ranks who would be available and qualified to be a head coach. They're not going to be Nebraska people. The idea is right now it is the safer play to run it back with a friend, which has been losing, versus cutting ties, bringing in somebody from the outside and trying to win.
Well, I mean, one of the things, and once again, to restate my opinion one more time, I think that Trev made the wrong decision today. But
and I agree.
One of the things that Jack said at the very end of the interview, I think can be true to a pretty decent sized degree. And that is this: if they decided to move on and the next coach had he said 4-7, but let's say a 5-7, 4-8-ish type season next year, we're having a lot of similar conversations, and you're already having that in year one. One of the things that has happened with this program, going back to Frank Solich, happened with him. It happened then with Bo Pelini as well, was they either got fired a year too late or a year too early. If now Peterson wasn't the athletic director for but a few days when he took over at the end of 2002, around the time of the bowl game, he can't fire a coach like literally after taking over in December of a season. But if Solich was going to get fired, he should have probably gotten fired in 2002, not in 2003. And if he didn't get fired in 2003, he should have at least gotten in 2004 just to see what happens. You could say the same thing about Bo. If you're going to fire Bo, you do it the year that the audio tape comes out, that he swings his head at an official, that he says, if you want to fire me, fire me. That's when you do it. You don't do it the next year after they get a victory on Black Friday. Let it play out and see what happens in 2015. Look, oddly enough, this time there is no record to stand on. There's no ninth win to point to. Maybe they pick up one of these final two. Maybe they get the Iowa one, and that can be like this building block moment.
Right.
And a lot of people are going to be hoping that they get a building block moment.
That can be the de facto bowl game.
It really can be. It can be. So barring that happening, and I don't think it will, there is no ninth win that he's going to get this season. That is not going to happen. So now you move forward, and I guess you give him that chance to either succeed or fail again. And, I guess I keep wondering, John, at what point is this just not good enough for everybody? But maybe the answer is that will never take place. Jack just mentioned that he was okay with giving him a decade to succeed or fail. And so maybe that's the answer for some. They're saying give him 6 more years to prove if he is or isn't the right coach at Nebraska.
But that's based on,
I know,
it's based on two things. And I hear these arguments all the time. Well, we got to get out of this cycle of hiring and firing.
Oh, I hear it a lot.
It took 7 different coaches, 7 different hirings and firings before Nebraska found Bob Devaney. What if Nebraska had decided in the mid-40s that Bernie Masterson, this is a guy, we got to give Bernie as much time as we possibly can. Because we got to get out of this cycle of hiring and firing. Bernie Masterson, for those of you who don't know, he played at Nebraska. He was a Lincoln guy. He was a local product. He only coached for a couple of years. But he was one of those 7 coaches. But what if Nebraska just decided in the moment, we got to make this happen. This is a guy, we're going to stick with him forever because we got to get out of this cycle. You never would have found Bob Devaney. Sometimes you have to go through a process of hiring and firing before you find the right guy.
Happened with Notre Dame. Happened with Alabama.
My reason why, one of many reasons why I disagree with this decision today, I've seen enough over the course of these 40-plus games to believe that whatever idea Scott Frost has for this program isn't working. Sometimes it just doesn't work. No matter how badly you want it, no matter how many different small towns in Nebraska you grew up in, no matter how hard you played here as a player, sometimes things just don't work out. And the part it almost wouldn't concern me as much if the reason why Nebraska was losing was because its defense was so bad.
Yeah.
Because the main reason Frost was brought here was because he had this great offensive mind. The defense was an accessory. The defense was not a defense that was designed or supposed to hold Ohio State to 26 points. They were
their like job, an accent pillow.
Their job, yeah, they were the accent pillow. They were the big play defense that was supposed to create more possessions for the offense, so that Nebraska could win track meets instead of winning 13-10 grinders. And yet, here we are 4 years in with the same hand-picked quarterback. The offense has been the biggest reason, not special teams. Special teams has been bad. I'm not saying that, but in a weird way,
it's been a symptom.
In a weird way, special teams has been a convenient cover for the real problem. If Nebraska's offense were better, they could even, with the same defense, obviously, even they could overcome the faux pas in Nebraska's special teams. And I'm not forgiving that special teams shouldn't be better, because they should.
Yes.
And to me, that is a symptom of lack of attention to detail. I truly believe that programs who have their crap together and have that attention to detail, it manifests itself on the field in terms of your special teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so with those two things out there, and there's others, I just don't think that whatever plan Scott Frost has is going to be a successful plan. Now, if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong.
Sure.
But I'm in the same boat as you, Josh. The goal here is to try to create a winning program. The goal here is to try to win. To me, it doesn't matter who the coach is, as long as the coach isn't, a convicted felon. It doesn't matter who the coach is. I don't have this sentimentality that says it has to be a certain guy who does it a certain way. I just want somebody who wins.
And you know what?
As someone who covers the program and has rooted for this program in the past, that's all I want. And I just want somebody who wins.
And I think, because I had a conversation, I was at my parents' yesterday watching games, and I had a conversation, and I wonder if that is maybe the thing that you and I, and those who agree with us, perhaps what makes us that different from the supporters. Because Sip just posted his column.
Mm-hmm.
And the tweet says, I've said it before, moving on from Frost would have poured dirt on what many Husker fans considered a dream hire back in 2018. I do like the idea of seeing Alberts and Frost work together. And he's right. Frost was a dream hire. But I quickly say, yeah, but who cares? That's have you ever had a relationship that in the very beginning, you're like, this is great. This is the best relationship I've ever had. And eventually it ends because you can't judge the relationship on what it was at the beginning or what you expected it to be. You have to judge it on what it ultimately becomes. I don't have that emotional attachment. I loved watching him play. I loved rooting for him. And yeah, it would have been really, really cool. I guess it theoretically would be really, really cool if he was the guy to turn it around for all of the obvious reasons. But I think that you and I hit on something last week, and I can't stop thinking about it. Being pro sports fans like we are, you can't have those emotional attachments, sentimental attachments to people. You want to win.
Because it changes
out. It changes all the time. I want the Cowboys to win. And I don't care if the head coach is Jason Garrett, Mike McCarthy, Dave Campo, Bill Parcells, or anybody else. I don't care. But I know around here, and we are seeing that mental block of moving on from him and the idea of it being the end of an era, even though that era is long gone.
That era is dead.
Truly moving on from what was once Nebraska football. That stops a lot of people from wanting a change to be made, even when all of the evidence, record-wise, performance-wise, tells them the exact opposite. By the way, real fast,
yes.
Trev is going to speak tonight on the Husker Sports Network. He's doing an interview at 6:05. So I don't know if he's doing the interviews with the scribes, but he will at least be speaking on the network later on today.
402-951-1620. As we mentioned, no Steve Sipple today. And I think we've decided we're going to put Damon's breakdown on podcast. So it'll be a podcast only because we had to record it earlier today, obviously before all the news took place. There's good stuff in there, obviously, about the game itself, the decision not to go for it, and instead trying to kick the field goal with 9 minutes to go. A little bit of conversation about, JoJo Domann and the potential that there could be a few players that don't finish the season because of either injury or opt-out or both. So there's good stuff in there. But obviously, with the timing of today's news and the fact it was pre-recorded, we thought it would probably be best just to put it on podcast and not run it as we normally would. So it's for the rest of the program, it's you, it's me, it's everybody, the people, the friends of the program. Coming up on 1620 The Zone. Well, there's 2 more games left. Or if you have a favorite pro team, and you like to have folks come over and watch the Chiefs with you, or the Broncos, or the Vikings, or the Packers, or the Cowboys. Maybe you want to have a watch party, but you don't want to do all the cooking and the preparation and all that noise. That's why you need Fernando's. Fall Football and Friends goes great with the super Mexican cooking, the Sonoran-style Mexican cooking of Fernando's. You can do up a taco bar or a nacho bar. They do wings, their famous enchiladas. Heck, just the chips and the salsa might be worth bringing the friends over just for that. Get a hold of Fernando's today and plan your next get-together with Fernando's. 2 locations, 114th and Dodge and 75th and Pacific. And for larger gatherings, parties of over 15, Fernando's will even deliver. So plan ahead. There's still plenty of football and plenty of fall left for a great Fernando's get-together. Get your Fernando's fix today. FernandosOmaha.com.
Unvarnished Husker coverage. Our guys give you the real Husker news 6A to 6P every weekday on 1620 The Zone.
Make Ameristar Council Bluffs your football headquarters this season. Place your sports bet 24/7 on the casino floor or watch and wager at the sports book. Score big with 11 sports betting kiosks and 6 wagering terminals. With over 50 HD TVs, a multi-screen video wall, and real-time sports ticker, there's nowhere better to catch the game. Get all the action and the best odds in town at Ameristar Council Bluffs. Must be 21. Terms and subject to change. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Sports betting is legal in Iowa and not in Nebraska.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need. The head surgeon's in the house and here's what he's about. Omaha Transmission. Skill and integrity will only steer you toward what you really need. Hey. Omaha Transmission. Drive into something true. Omaha Transmission. Shift into running smooth.
If unfortunately your transmission needs to be remanufactured, you need someone who's going to do it right. At Omaha Transmission, we remanufacture transmissions at the highest level of quality possible. Backed by our industry best 3-year, 100,000-mile nationwide warranty, our transmissions are completely remanufactured and are done in-house with all new parts and get updates that exceed the manufacturer's original specifications. This results in a superior product that works better and lasts longer. Get the most out of your money at Omaha Transmission.
Omaha Transmission. Shift into running smooth.
I get paid to spread holiday cheer.
You could earn extra cash this holiday season working at Omaha Steaks. Right now, we're hiring for a variety of seasonal positions in our warehouses. And all positions come with a great employee discount that you can use all year long. To view available job openings and to apply online, go to omahasteaks.com/jobs or text steaks at 22633 to apply today.
Hey folks, is your concrete in need of repair? Kent Pavelka here to talk about your local concrete experts and a Best of Omaha winner, Everlevel Concrete Repair. They can completely restore and repair your concrete at a fraction of the price compared to replacement and offer long-term transferable warranties. I'm so glad I chose Everlevel for my driveway. There's a reason they're a Best of Omaha winner. Give them a call for your free inspection. That's Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel. Try saying that 3 times fast.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
At Dingman's, we are working for you before you even walk through our doors. Our level of commitment to industry involvement and continuing education is second to none. Through our ongoing involvement, we stay current with all the best repair procedures for the ever-changing vehicle. This includes working with auto and paint manufacturers, as well as insurance companies. Our repair facilities are set up with the latest repair and technology. Our ongoing work is to ensure that when you do need us, we are able to provide you with the safest, best repair possible. Because at Dingman's, we would rather be the best than apologize for anything less. Dingmans.com.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, John.
This week's Zone Deal is for Le Voltaire.
Ooh.
We're getting fancier with our names, so much so, we're getting fancier because we're having to put pronouncers on the
yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row now.
On the live read, but It is a locally owned French restaurant serving Omaha for over 22 years. It's unpretentious, down-home cooking with French flair. Le Voltaire, this week's Zone Deal, get 2 $25 vouchers for only $50 on sale this Friday at 1620thezone.com. Live here in our Host Coffee Zone studios. If you have missed it, we are staying on our video stream.
Hell yeah,
today
we are.
On our YouTube channel. So if you want to watch along with the program, in addition to listen along with the program, you can.
Yep.
James, one of our commenters.
Oh.
And this is a fun thing about doing the live video stream is we can flash our commenters.
We're going to flash them?
Yeah, we're going to flash them.
That's assault, brother.
Can we get Bishop to take his blood pressure? It looks like it might be a little high. Believe it or not, as excited and animated as I get sometimes, and last night, not a good night. I've always had good blood pressure, not bad blood pressure.
Nice. Good for you.
Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I allow myself to vent enough times.
I always love that idea. Like, stop getting so angry. Oh, okay. I won't care about the issues that I care about. Interesting. I did want to read something from somebody who disagrees with us because I've been trying to clip and say various tweets and emails throughout the day, and I know I won't get to everybody. But Gary says you talk out of both sides of your mouth. LOL. You say 7 coaching changes to find Bob Devaney. The point you're missing is that they might not have had to if they would have provided the first, second, third, or fourth guy the appropriate time to build something. I guess I should have given Bill Jennings more time. It's funny how clueless you are to the concept that your way is not the only way. You agree Nebraska is a unique place, but somehow you portray it's not a unique job. We'd rather win with one of us than tolerate someone that isn't. Bo Pelini didn't embrace the fan base. Mike Riley didn't represent the culture. Scott Frost gives the presence of both those things. Wins can wait. I want to highlight something real fast before we get to like the crux of this.
Remember, Tom Osborne didn't graduate from Nebraska.
It's funny how clueless you are to the concept that your way is not the only way.
Devaney.
Gary, you have your opinion, and we have our opinion.
Sure.
The idea that I should not believe my opinion is correct would be asinine. Why would I be arguing for my opinion? I've never understood, well, you think that you're right. Yeah. What a concept that I would argue my opinion. I don't do fake arguments. I argue what I actually believe
that's one
in.
thing about this program that we have always been consistent with is we do not do takes just to get reaction.
Yeah.
We give you what we honestly believe.
Yeah. So to go to the point, though, if they would have provided those guys the appropriate time, you're going to get that. I guess the one positive thing continues to be about this. There can't really be excuses, but I know that me saying that is pretty silly because I was trying to think over the weekend about conversations we had in the offseason, and we were putting numbers on things. Hey, what's a number of win that would show signs of progress? Obviously, they're not going to touch that. Hey, if they don't do whatever, do you think that he should be fired? And the agreement was usually yes. That's not going to happen. I don't know what that looks like now. And I do want to know, beyond the contract restructuring, because honestly, in the end, I don't really care about that. I don't care if his buyout is lessened. I don't care if his buyout has an increase.
No, but I'll tell you who does though.
Well, the editorial board.
Well, yeah, the editorial board. But I mean,
I know. I know our state does. I personally don't care about that. What I want to know is, Trev doesn't put numbers on things. So what does next year look like? And is it a 1-year play or is it a 2-year play? Because I mean, to hit on what you hit on earlier, what expectations should we have now for this program? Because I don't really know the answer to that anymore. My answer today would say they're okay with losing, but I know that it goes beyond those things. But what what happens, because the roller coaster ride is not going to be good if we have to do this. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the coach. It's not good for the players. It's not good for the university. But we could be staring down at a program that has a bunch of new offensive assistants. Sean Beckton's the only person that I would bring back on that side of the ball. It would not shock me if Eric Chenander had some people coming his way or other
If
assistants.
he doesn't,
Travis
that'd
Fisher.
Be stunning.
It really would be.
It'd be stunning.
So you're talking about a bunch of coaches that are either going to get fired, they should get fired, or will,
or may move on.
May move on. What's going to happen with the defense just in terms of personnel? There's going to be a lot of guys that are graduating, that are moving on to the pros, so you have that. What's happening with offense? I think Austin Allen is going to go on to the pros. We're definitely going to see some transfers. After what's happened this year at quarterback, if Logan Smothers doesn't leave, I will be blown away, because if I were him, I would want to get out of Dodge as fast as possible. Quarterback has a broken jaw, which I haven't had a chance to talk about that today, and he hasn't gotten a shot. What's going to happen with Adrian Martinez? So there's all these factors. Basically what I'm saying is next year's team could look so much different. And then how are you supposed to approach that expectations-wise? Because in the end, that's the topic du jour. That is the most important thing, is how good does Nebraska football have to be for the head coach to keep his job? And if they don't reach that, is he going to get another year in 2023?
Well, let's go to the hotline, the Lanahaw Nurseries hotline. Luke is up first. Hi, Luke. Thanks for waiting. You're in the zone.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey.
So, yeah, you guys were actually just kind of touching on it. Part of the reason I was convinced that I think Frost needed to be fired probably right around the after the Minnesota game. I was convinced of it.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why that hasn't faltered even with our performances like against the Michigans and the Ohio States of the world is I always felt like if you brought Frost back, that next year would be much messier than firing him next year would be much messier than firing him this year, because assuming and this is I don't think a too big of an assumption, but assuming that we go 3-9 this year, doesn't that put a situation where maybe even improving the record next year to 4-8 and 5-7? There's no guarantee that Trev wouldn't pull the trigger at that point, and at that point, I think it would make Trev look a lot worse, because he's firing a coach that improved on his record. If there was some sort of expectation, maybe not necessarily record-wise, but that Trev had for Frost, I think it opens up way too many things that Trev would have to sort of explain away as to why he fired Frost at that point, as opposed to this season or all that kind of stuff. And I want to get you guys' thoughts on that.
Luke, it's a great question.
Thanks, Luke.
It's a great question because, okay, 3-9, 4-8, 5-7. Those are the records that are on the docket for Nebraska this year. Those are the records that they can have. If they go 6-6, that would be improvement on any of those records. If they finish 3-9 this year and they go 4-8 or 5-7, that is technically progress, especially given the roster makeup that I just discussed. So I don't know. Is 6-6 okay? I thought Amazing Daniel, he put it really well earlier. I have this tweet saved. He says, difficult scenario, 6-7 wins next year. Basically saying what Luke just did. Nightmare scenario, 9 wins next year, 4 wins in 2023. Nightmare in the sense of what to do. I'm fine with it, but the long term is going to get weird one way or another. Here's hoping the it takes 5 years crowd is right. And that's the thing. Barring a wild swing next year, either super positive, and for me now that means 9 wins at minimum, or more of the same, 3, 4, 5. Barring one of those, it's going to be a tough decision on what to do. 6 wins is progress. Is 6 wins is getting to a bowl in year 5, just getting to a bowl for the first time in your tenure. Is that enough? I don't know the answer for people. 9 wins, like that'd be awesome. And the next thing is going to be, okay, but can he do it again? And I know that sounds unfair to people, but that's what this program, should be striving for, is winning 9, is competing for division championships. So I don't know. To answer your question, Luke, I don't know. I don't know what 6 wins would mean next year. Barring Trev saying...
It's going to mean more arguing. I guarantee you that.
It's going to mean more arguing.
You're going to have... Now, obviously, the numbers can change. Another year of frustration could add a few more to the Fire Frost side of the ledger. But if they have a competitive game against Oklahoma next year, or what if they go 6-6 but have somehow beat Oklahoma next year at Memorial Stadium? I guarantee you, folks, 1 year from now, if it's another around or sub 500 season, we're going to have the same exact arguments again.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Jamie, well, yes, you do have the right to your opinion, and you have the right to argue for it. What you do not get to do is set the expectations that Trev has for Nebraska football. Jamie, that's the point of being a fan, man. You got to have expectations. Yours can be different from mine. That's fine. Why do you watch, you weirdos? Why don't you want this program to be good? I don't understand this. I'm like trying not to, lose it today. I don't get this.
Blood pressure.
Come on, Jamie. Ask more from your favorite football team. Ask more.
Hey, again.
If you don't want more, then why do you watch?
Exactly.
To be happy because he's a grad? What good does it do if they're losing?
Right.
Why is that fun? This sucks. This is miserable.
Losing is bad,
This
folks.
is
It's
horrible.
bad. It's never good. Losing is bad. And Nebraska has now clinched their 5th straight losing season, 4th straight under this coaching staff, and this one could be the worst of the 4. So the trend is going down.
He's pointing if you're not watching.
I'm pointing down. Down. Rick, Kurt, David, Michigan Lance. You better be nice, Michigan Lance. You were mean.
Yeah,
you were mean on Saturday.
Yeah,
but more of your calls when we continue with this special edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Trev Alberts has announced that Scott Frost will be back next year with a restructured contract. Details to come. 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Currently nothing major as far as wrecks go. We're getting reports, though, of some delays on L Street for both directions around the JFK. Also delays on L Street for both directions around 90th. Expect some slow going on eastbound I-80 between 84th and 72nd. And the same goes out on Industrial Road around 144th for eastbound commuters. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza.
Enjoy Romeo's Grande Pizza and Taco Combo. 1 large 2-topping pizza, 4 soft-shell tacos, chips and queso dip for only $26.99. Only at Romeo's. Carry out only.
Not your typical restaurant. At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Kevin Kugler here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football with the Chicago Bears at the Pittsburgh Steelers as we wrap up Week 9 of the season. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers are 4-3, but on a 3-game winning streak and are just a game back in the tough AFC North. The Bears are looking to break a 3-game losing trend and get past some key injuries, especially on defense. On offense, head coach Matt Nagy says the confidence of rookie quarterback Justin Fields is improving weekly.
Just seeing his energy and his vibe throughout the game, I really think that that's great for our offense. It's great for our team, and there was growth there for him. So, looking forward to really seeing him continue with that confidence.
Join Trent Green and me for all the action from Pittsburgh when the Steelers host the Bears coming up on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on 1620 The Zone.
O'Reilly. Are your wiper blades chattering, skipping, or squeaking? Don't let streaks or smearing on your windshield compromise your visibility. When it's time to replace your wiper blades, stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and see our selection. Our professional parts people will even install your new wiper blades while you wait. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified. Other companies might deliver a lot of hay. ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry. You can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style. And they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
Hi, Bill Jones.
And Olivia for Jones Bros Cupcakes.
Football season is here again. Who's your favorite football team, Olivia?
Nebraska.
Who has the best cupcakes, donuts, coffee, ice cream, boba drinks, sandwiches, and breakfast?
Jones Bros Cupcakes.
All good answers. For game day or any day, grab some Jones Bros.
It's yummy.
Visit Jones Bros Cupcakes at Exarban Village and Westroads.
We appreciate your support.
It pays to parlay pro football with Elite Sportsbook. Receive a 50% bet match up to $25 every Sunday in November on your first 3 or more leg pro football parlay. That's an easy $100 in free bets up for grabs in November. Plus, new signups can take advantage of their first bet being risk-free up to $500. Download the app today and play your game with Elite Sportsbook. Valid only in Iowa. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
To recap, for those of you joining us, just as the program was getting started today.
Literally.
We were in the middle of the crossover when a statement came down from Trev Alberts and Scott Frost announcing that Frost would be back next year under the terms of a restructured contract. Details of that will be forthcoming on what the nature of the restructured contract is. And Trev Alberts has said he has liked the progress he has seen this season and that Frost has outlined his plan for the program moving forward. And he has accepted that Frost's plan is one that he believes can be successful. Adam Rittenberg of ESPN has reported within the last hour that there will be changes to the offensive staff. None of those things were made readily apparent in the statement, but that there would be changes, according to Adam Rittenberg, in the offensive staff. More to come. Trev Alberts is scheduled to speak on the Sports Nightly Husker Network show tonight after 6 o'clock, and you can hear that on our sister station, KLIN in Lincoln.
Yeah, so I wonder then, what more do we learn tonight? What are I sometimes hate using the word argument because it sounds combative. What talking points will he use? What points will he use for why he brought him back? And what this means for things moving forward. I'm interested to see if he will divulge anything with any of the contract situation, with some of the buyout stuff. Somebody made fun of me earlier for saying, you don't care about that. You're a clown. The reason I don't care, I'm not bothered if they lower his buyout or increase his buyout, which they're not going to do. That doesn't bother me. It's not the program is self-sustained. They're fine.
Yeah, they can afford the buyout. If you think today's decision was because they didn't think they could afford the buyout, that I believe is erroneous.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong.
Now, I still believe there's the possibility, I don't know this for a fact, but the possibility that there might be some boosters who wouldn't have been happy with a change.
Sure.
And they could, whether it's current money that they've already pledged or future money that they might pledge, say, we don't want to be donors anymore because of that decision. So, not that they would ever confirm any of those things, but yeah, if it's strictly about, well, Nebraska couldn't afford the buyout. No, they could afford the buyout right now if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But that obviously is not on the table. All right, we've got a full bank of phone calls, so let's get to them. Rick, start us off here as we begin the 4 o'clock hour Central Standard Time.
Sad.
J&J, thanks for taking my phone call.
Hey, Rick.
The whole thing's predicated on money. Albert's played it safe. As long as the fans keep stuff in the stadium and the money keeps coming in, he bought himself some time, a year or two. But I told Berzel when Spielman left that there was a curse put on the program out at Elmwood Park by a witch doctor 7 years ago, and it seemed to be coming to fruition, meaning that the sports program's been cursed, and it was just a bunch of smack I was talking, but it seems to be coming true. The bad schedule, all the bad calls by the referees and everything, and one thing after another goes wrong. The other thing is, me and a guy were working 20 years ago. We're handing donuts out to bosses, and one of the coworkers come up and said, "Why are you handing donuts out to the bosses?" And we told him we were rewarding non-producers. Well, that's what's happening with Scott Frost. He hasn't produced. He's being rewarded. Forget about the native son thing. And like I said, Alberts is just buying time. That's all he's doing. And as long as the fans keep packing that stadium and the money's there, if this was down south, and I'm sure the whole country's laughing at us, especially with this editorial today, who would keep a coach with that kind of record? And forget about his laurels as a player. But, there's no competition in this state. The basketball team's the same way. Hopefully Hoiberg turns it around. That stadium, that arena's full because there's nothing else to do in Lincoln. You go in there for $20, you get tanked up before the game, get tanked up after, and that's where you're at. So as long as you got the monopoly, and it's going to burn out sooner or later, but there's nowhere else to go in this state for football.
Caller, Rick.
UNO, not that UNO was a competitor.
Right. Rick, appreciate the call. I would say this, though. Nebraska's literally coming off of the lowest announced attendance game since 2006.
Yeah,
that was an interesting little anecdote to Saturday's fun.
That is that idea, get ready for the stadium to be empty. Like, I do wonder what they think of that, because I don't think that Rick is wrong. I don't know if the sell streak's going to end or not. I thought that it's already ended. I know. I don't know if they will actually let it end or if they're going to, keep going through
keep propping it up with artificial means. Yeah.
But Look, I know that the support right now, every poll question I see is in support of this decision. Every poll question I see. Yours, Sam's.
But there is divide.
And we have seen it this year with the stadium, is that people either don't show up or they leave early.
And a lot of that isn't just because the program hasn't been good. This has been a natural thing that's happening everywhere.
But I would say,
but it's easier to happen quicker when the team's not good.
And I think that next year is probably going to be worse in that regard. I don't think the stadium atmosphere is going to be awesome next week or next season. So but if you make this move, you have to be okay with it, and you have to be okay with the consequences. They're going to be okay with those consequences because they're okay with the losing right now too.
Yeah, and it'd be disingenuous not to believe that even if the move had been in the opposite direction, there's consequences. Mm-hmm. There's always consequences, good and bad, for these particular moves. David is up next on the Lanahaw Nurseries hotline. Hello, David.
Hi, David.
Hey, fellas. I feel so defeated. This news just kind of killed me here. I guess I get so frustrated, when you get on Facebook and you hear these people call, "Oh, we'll fire the offensive coordinator and keep Frost." Well, it's the same person technically. Someone else has the title, but Frost is calling the play.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, and I don't know how to describe this, but it's like you have a portion of the fan base that are football fans, and then a portion that are in make-believe Nebraska fans. Like they're in their own world. And it just gets, because they'll say, "Oh, Bob Devaney needed time." Bob Devaney was 38-6 in his first 4 years. What are you bringing Bob Devaney up for?
Yeah, I haven't heard that argument, but I would shoot that down as fast as it
people are saying Tom Osborne a lot lately. So I know. I'm just saying those arguments being made, which is infuriating. Keep going, David.
Yeah, I'm just saying their arguments are not backed by football facts, and that's why I'm saying I think there's a divide in Nebraska fans. You have some that are Nebraska whatever, and then you have true Nebraska football fans, and they're the ones that are frustrated by this decision. Because just like what you guys have said, not only could we have players go all different directions, but, just because we want to keep a coach doesn't mean he's going to stay, because if he's smart, he's probably already calling his agent saying, "Hey, go find me a spot."
David, appreciate the call. I would say this right now.
Thank you, David.
No matter what side of the fence you're on with this decision, as a Nebraska fan, you should be pissed off and you should be frustrated. And you should be demanding answers, and you should be demanding immediate results. Whichever way you believe on this issue. Because This program going 5 straight years, losing seasons, 5 straight years without a bowl is inexcusable in this modern age. When you have 40-plus bowl games, more than half the sport qualifies for a bowl game. And for the 5th straight year, you weren't one of them. And for the last 4, it's been under the same coach. So whether or not you support this, if you're a big, Scott Frost guy, you should still be angry today. And you should be saying, Scott, you better have a plan, and it better start cashing in next year. And even if Trev Alberts won't put a number on it, I think collectively as a fan base, you need to put a solid set of expectations that this is no longer about sentimentality. This is no longer about doing it because Scott lived here and lived in 7 different towns in Nebraska and he's just like me and he wants it badly. That is superficial crap that does not matter to the situation. You might think it matters, but it does not. Remember, some of the greatest coaches in the history of college sports did not graduate or live in the state that they became legends in. Most of them came from the outside. It does not matter where you come from. So move the superficial crap off the table and start demanding results next year.
See, you say it doesn't matter, and I agree with you in theory, but it obviously does to the people, to a lot of the people, not all of them. I don't want
I know, but if you want to be consistent and if you want a great program, great programs are not built on sentimentality. What I'm trying to do, Josh, is eliminate this idea that it matters that he's from Nebraska.
Nick, we need a Frost Flash.
Frost Flash. This is an unsportsmanlike conduct Frost Flash update. Frost Flash from the Frost Flash Sports Desk.
Just gotta see. Yeah, how about this? Wow, what a Monday!
And here come the changes, folks.
Just got an announcement from Keith Mann. Frost announces Nebraska football staff changes. They have parted ways with 4 assistant coaches effective immediately. And you can just fade it down, Nick. We don't have to do the hit the post. Matt Lubick, Greg Austin, Ryan Held, Mario Verduzco are all gone. They are no longer with the program. A quote from Frost: I appreciate the work and sacrifices these men have made for the University of Nebraska and this football program and wish all of them well. They are all men of outstanding character and good coaches, but as we strive for better consistency and execution, we needed fresh ideas and voices on our offensive staff. So, wow.
Cleaning house. So apparently what needed to happen is happening quickly. So Scott Frost moving quickly. I wonder if this is part of the terms of this restructured deal. But 4 of the 5 offensive assistants have been fired.
Wow.
In the bye week.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, so that
the
means
only
only
one left
only
is Sean Beckton. Only Sean Beckton.
Basically what we said last segment, too. Interesting. Absolutely fascinating. And so you wonder, I mean, I know that today is so much more about the big picture than it is about the short term because there are still 2 games left, but you do wonder, what's going on then on that side of the ball, who's going to help out. You got the GAs, of course, on the roster. You do have some former Huskers in the ether, that I imagine would love to help out for, a little bit,
Yeah.
So like, do you have, like a Matt Hoskinson? Does he volunteer? And, and I'm not trying to do the thing that a lot of people normally do, where it's like, hey, why not hire Jason Peter as the defensive line coach and Damon Benning as the running back coach? But you do wonder, what all this is going to mean.
Well, that didn't take long at all. I have to wonder if that was part of today's announcement was, okay, we're going to start making changes and we're going to start making them right now. Because there is the hard, cold reality that there's still 2 more games left.
There are. There
two
are
more
2
games
more games
that if they don't go the way that Nebraska fans want them to, could continue to sway the opinion in a negative fashion. And now you've kind of made your bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the change is happening now. I think what that partially does, A, it shows that, hey, we're working on this thing right away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And B, it's also going to give them at least a little bit of cover for if they do lose to Wisconsin and or Iowa, that, hey, okay, I know we lost. I know we're 3-9 or 4-8, whatever the record ends up being, but we've already started making changes. We're serious about this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring on Nathan. Good afternoon, Nathan. You're on the Lanahaw Nurseries hotline. Again, Frost has just announced that Ryan Held, Greg Austin, Matt Lubick, and Mario Verduzco are fired.
I think that's great. And I also think we need to keep Scott.
Okay.
The reason we got rid of the other coaches was because they were getting blown out and recruiting was terrible. How are we doing right now in big games? Yeah, we're not winning them, but there's a ton of improvement on both sides of the ball, especially the defense. He's proven, I mean, he's a young coach yet. He's still taking time. You know, he's growing. He's figuring it out. And finally, he's showing that he'll get rid of the guys that have been with him forever. But you guys talk about people demanding change and what have you and getting it. People have been demanding you guys be off the air for the last several years, but we still have you. So sometimes you don't always get what you want.
How many, Nathan, so you and how many other people?
I wondered why you sounded so nervous, Nathan. Your voice was shaking the whole time.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you guys. I've been around the country and listening to sports talk radio.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for Nebraska and maybe Creighton, you guys wouldn't have a job.
If it weren't for the sports that we cover, we wouldn't have a job. Interesting take.
That's a great take, Nathan. That's very insightful.
The only two sports in this state. Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to Nashville, you go to Los Angeles.
Well, I'd cover the
you go to
local
LA.
teams if I was in Nashville.
Yeah, I'd be covering the Titans today.
Yeah.
You know, they beat my Rams. I was a little upset about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, please continue.
Nah, you wouldn't get an interview.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we wouldn't get an interview.
Okay.
And you know this how, Nathan?
Because your takes are weak. Your intro music's weak. Everything's just, it's awful. It's a bad show.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening to this bad show, Nathan. We appreciate you being out there.
So let me ask you this. Where do you
Oh,
guys
please.
rank
I would
on
love to
sports-
answer another question from you.
Awesome. Where do you guys rank in sports talk radio as far as even mid-market? Where do you guys rank at for shows in this time slot?
In our current time slot?
Yeah.
Do you really want to know the answer
Do
to this
you
question,
really
Nathan?
want to know
Do you
the
really
answer to
want
this
to know?
question, Nathan?
Not just in Omaha, Nebraska.
Well, they don't rank. They don't
They're
rank.
gonna do ratings for the whole country.
We don't. When we're rated, when radio stations are rated, Nathan, we're not rated against Des Moines or Peoria or East Lansing, or we're only rated amongst stations in Omaha. That's how television rankings work in local markets.
So there's 3 then, maybe 4.
What?
Would you like to know, Nathan, where
You
we
guys are
rank
killing it.
among all radio stations in Omaha?
In our market?
In our market?
No. I
Oh, you
care.
don't.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
you don't.
Nice. Good take.
Oh,
Nathan.
okay.
You couldn't go anywhere else and get a gig
Okay.
And you know this how?
because you're still here.
Maybe I'm still here because I'm born here and I like it here.
Okay. All right. Well.
Okay, Nathan. Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks, Nathan.
Have a nice day.
Tell me your ratings. Oh, you want to know our ratings? No, never mind. Okay, very cool. By the way, I was wondering about who's going to take over for those coaching roles. Sean Callahan reporting Ron Brown will handle the running back room. Frank Verducci, who's been a senior offensive analyst. Steve DeMio, they will coach the offensive line. Steve Cooper will head the quarterback room over the last 2 games of this
These
season.
will be for the last 2
Yeah,
games.
that-
Obviously,
that'd be a Sean Callahan.
obviously a permanent replacements will be announced later.
Mhm.
But if you just missed it, Greg Austin,
Well, if
Ryan
you missed
Held,
it before the bad call.
yeah, Greg Austin, Ryan Held, Matt Lubick, and Mario Verduzco have been released from Scott Frost. That was an announcement through him coming out just moments ago. Michigan Lance, you were actually next in the queue, but then I saw what Nathan wanted to talk about, so I skipped ahead. So anyway, if you can beat that last caller, good luck.
Hey, man, and you guys call me mean.
That guy was mad.
Thank you. Hey, was that for
Scared
real?
mad.
Is this April Fool's Day? I think this is April Fool's
I have a
Day.
guess on who that
Scott
was.
Frost is still your coach. This guy is talking about you guys wouldn't have a job. What? What was he talking about? My man, hey, you guys are the opposite of Scott Frost. You guys are born here, and you lived in probably a couple counties, and you guys are actually successful, though. You guys are actually winning. So you're the opposite of Scott Frost. How's that for you?
Your words, not ours.
You're being too nice, Michigan Lance. Where's the butt? Where's the butt?
No, there is no but.
Okay.
Hey, I'm a truth teller. I tell facts and truth. That's what you are. So
Thank you,
maybe
Lance.
you need to understand that. Maybe
Thank you for being a friend of the program, Lance.
Hey, let's follow your model. Hey, let's get guys that are winners from this place. Jeez. All right. So what I was really calling about.
Yeah. What was originally on your mind?
I'm glad we stayed on the video stream.
I had a conversation with Steve Warren, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys know, but I do have a podcast called the Listen Up Podcast with Michigan Lance, and it is on Apple, iTunes. You know, it's on my Twitter at Michigan Lance. You can find it, Instagram, Facebook, all that, right? Thank you, John Bishop, for helping me start this deal. You're one of the people that inspired, okay? And that's serious. And so Steve, Steve was somebody I really talked to in depth about, he felt retaining Scott Frost and Trevor Albert, having Trevor Albert here was for the betterment of the program. And so you guys can listen to more to that. But, let's move forward now. Okay, this is where we're at now. So now going forward, what is the standard for, like, how long does he get? Is there a certain amount of wins? How many years do you give him from now? Like, what are we talking here? That's what I want to know from listeners, fans. Like, okay, do you guys feel the majority wanted him back or no?
I think the majority of the fan base does want Scott Frost back.
Yeah. Based on our poll question, there's definitely a majority.
Okay, so what does it take? Like, so how long do you give him from here? Is it 2 years? Is it 1 year? You got to win 6 to 8, like, or a bowl game, like. Hey, this guy's in a tough situation here, man. Like, yeah, he's fired all these people, but, like, again, these were his guys. I don't know if this is going to work because he's about to bring in new guys. How many more guys does he know? Is he willing to give up the reins as far as the offense, which it sounds like that's what they're moving towards. That's probably what Trev is, probably one of the reconstruction deals. I mean, hey, man, I don't see it getting brighter. I don't know, man.
Lance, let me turn this around on you because we described this earlier as basically Frost got Harbaugh'd. Your guy, Jim Harbaugh, got his contract restructured. What?
Yep.
Talk to me as someone who watched that whole thing play out last year. What should the expectation be, or what was your expectation based on the fact that Michigan brought Harbaugh back?
So here's the difference between Harbaugh and Frost. I felt Harbaugh didn't need to be fired because I did feel he needed to change staff members, right? And they did that. He got rid of Don Brown, brought a new defensive coordinator. He had already the year before backed off the offensive coordinator. John Gaddis did that, so I was happy with that change. But that was a year prior. So they were already kind of moving toward this, and then last year they were like, bad year. But the difference with Harbaugh is he's had successful years. He's won 10 games, 8, 9 games, been in big bowl games. You know what I mean? Now, what he didn't do was get over the hump of beating the top-tier team. But the teams he was supposed to beat, he beat. He beat the Illinois, the Purdue's, the Minnesotas, the Rutgers. You know what I mean? So his is a little bit different. Frost hasn't done that. And your internal coaching staff is not right, man. Something isn't right there. Nobody's on the same page, and that isn't good. Now, with Harbaugh this year, I like what I'm seeing. Yeah, we lost to Michigan State. Michigan State's a top 10 team, though. They're not bad. They got a great coach. I mean, so we're not losing, again, to Rutgers, Illinois, bottom feed, Maryland. Harbaugh has to get over the hump. Hey, man, he needs to beat Ohio State this year. But let's say he loses to Michigan State and Ohio State only. I still see progress on the field. I still see progress within the coaching staff and the way that we play. There is a difference in that. And so that's what I wanted to see as a whole. And I do believe, like I said on Twitter, that this is the year they're going to beat Ohio State. They have a different mentality. You know what I mean? Where like Nebraska loses games, Michigan used to lose those games too, but they're winning those games. Now they still got to beat the top 10 teams, which I think they're getting to that level, and I think that'll happen against Ohio State. That's where the difference lies. Man, Harbaugh has won 8, 9, 10 games.
Yep.
Through his tenure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's been going to bowl games. Nebraska has under Scott Frost.
Lance, great stuff. Thanks,
Thank you,
my friend.
Lance.
Take care. Appreciate you being out there. More calls coming up. Mark, Nebraska, and Daisy. Stay right there. 402-951-1620.
I was like, man, this guy sounds a little nervous. And then the further into the call, I was like, oh, that's why he's so nervous. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, he's kind of like one of those, you know how you're ready to dump the bucket of water on the coach, but you're not quite sure if you should do this, and then the water starts spilling out of the bucket, and you're shaking, and the water's flying out everywhere. By the time he actually lifted the bucket and turned it,
it already spilled.
There was a couple of drops left.
Yeah,
I'm just glad he committed. There's been so many times where people.
Did.
Hey, yeah, he kept
There's
going.
been so many
I'm gonna
times where
give
people
Nathan
have
credit.
called
It was
me.
Nathan, right?
Yes.
Nathan. I'm going to give him credit.
People have called me.
Are you going to tell me off the air who you think it is?
Oh, it's the Rick guy, the Rick Solar guy, whatever his real name is. It was definitely that guy. Whatever that guy's name is.
Whatever that guy's name.
Neil, I don't know what his name is.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone and Zone TV on YouTube.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Mostly sunny and breezy into late afternoon with the temperatures in the low and mid 60s. Skies will become mostly cloudy for tonight and lows drop back in the mid 40s. Clouds early, but then giving way to some sunshine for Tuesday afternoon with highs in the upper 50s. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Randy from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Looks like you should have some smooth sailing as far as wrecks go. We're seeing a little bit of a delay on L Street for westbound commuters right around the JFK. Otherwise, if you're headed west on 370, you can see some slow going right around I-80. Also delays on eastbound I-80 between 84th and 72nd. And then we're also getting a report of a little bit of a delay right around 156th and West Center. I'm Mike Neville.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Nebraska Loves Public Schools.
We capture the strength and humanity of schools across our state. We make films. We make shirts. We share the stories of schools today. It's the heart of our work. Discover more at iloveps.org.
My first plan to spice up the NFL season was to add man-eating tigers to the game. We lost a lot of great players that day, and that was my bad. Now I'm bringing you the Caesars Sportsbook app. It's got live in-game betting, parlays, and Caesars rewards, people. It's even better than Tiger Ball.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Hey folks, is your concrete in need of repair? Kent Pavelka here to talk about your local concrete experts and a Best of Omaha winner, Everlevel Concrete Repair. They can completely restore and repair your concrete at a fraction of the price compared to replacement and offer long-term transferable warranties. I'm so glad I chose Everlevel for my driveway. There's a reason they're a Best of Omaha winner. Give them a call for your free inspection. That's Everlevel, Everlevel, Everlevel. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Hey, football fans, say Fan Zone into your Contour Voice remote and enhance your game day experience all week long. Play games, win prizes, Cox. We're fans 24/7.
We got the Beat the Mary Beat It Goat.
Narayan High School's open house is November 21st from noon to 2:30.
This is the perfect chance for 5th to 8th graders and their families to see why Marion is a 3-time National Blue Ribbon School. Meet our faculty, see the facilities, and learn about tuition and scholarships. That's November 21st from noon to 2:30. The Marion High School Open House. Visit marionhighschool.net for more information.
It's been a tough season, so starting your day drinking at 7 a.m. is justified. And Social in Elkhorn, 192nd and Pacific, is taking the football show on the road. The Rivalry Bus. Join us as we load up and head to Lincoln. Social in Elkhorn, 192nd and Pacific. The Rivalry Bus leaves Social a few hours before kickoff, then gets back in time to keep the holiday weekend celebration going. Register at social192.com. Nebraska, Iowa, and the Rivalry Bus to Lincoln. Social in Elkhorn, 192nd and Pacific. Drink well, stay late, be social. Social192.com.
Let me get you up to speed on the service that you need. The head surgeon's in the house and here's what he's about. The skill and integrity will always steer you toward what you really need. Omaha Transmission, drive into something true. Omaha Transmission, shift into running smooth.
If you think you're having transmission problems, you need a specialist, someone who can and will tell you exactly what's wrong. At Omaha Transmission, that's what we do. Some places just want to sell you a new transmission, but at Omaha Transmission, we make repairs that other shops can't or won't. Giving you options is what's kept us in business since 2005. We've even had people hear our ads, bring in their car, and experience the exact same scenario they heard. There is a place that will diagnose and fix your transmission. That place is Omaha Transmission.
Omaha Transmission, shift into running smooth.
Los Hills Harley-Davidson makes fall really fun with everything from leathers, boots, and gear to those always awesome Harley-Davidson motorcycles. Fall is really pretty freaking fun at Los Hills Harley-Davidson, south of Council Bluffs at I-29 and US 34 and LosHillsHD.com.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. This is unsportsmanlike conduct.
Can I get in on this?
The 1620. The Zone.
Busy news day.
Oh, yeah.
The news dump happened on a Monday, not Friday after 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. Thank
very
you for
kind of the university to do all that.
So, to recap, Trev Albert says Scott Frost will be back. There will be a restructured contract. We do not have the details of that restructured contract yet, but I believe that those details will be forthcoming, if not by tonight, certainly by tomorrow. And just announced within the last half hour that 4 offensive assistant coaches, Mario Verduzco, Ryan Held, Matt Lubick, and Greg Austin, have been relieved of duties and will be replaced by current members on the staff. Ron Brown is one of them. There are also a couple of offensive analysts who will take over some of the roles, and you will probably start hearing names of folks who will be coming in as full-time coaches within the next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the latest. I wanted to read this real quick, but we got so many good callers waiting. Let's go to Nebraska first. It's our friend Nebraska from Oklahoma. Hello, Nebraska.
What's up, John? What's up, Josh?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Hey.
Man, it's been a while since I called you guys. But, hey, know that your boy always listens, and I listen on a podcast or I watch y'all on YouTube, as you see.
Thank you, friend.
Always keep up. Always. I'm not Nathan. I didn't almost make it home and decided to stop at the local tavern and get whiskeyed up and then decide to call the show that said that isn't a show and can't make it, but you still, which is stupid, because you call the show that you said is stupid and isn't a show, but you call them. Okay, that guy's stupid. He really reminds me of all of the Nebraska fans right now. I'm probably one of the guys that's just I wasn't a Frost hater, so I need you guys to understand that.
Yep.
I was with everybody else with what we were going through at that time. Frost was the right hire at that time. You couldn't have picked anybody better. But I'm like, Josh, dude, it's been gone. Like, okay, stop trying to bring the 90s out of Frost and implement them into 2021. That ship's been sank. I, again, agree with you guys when you were saying about this hire or this continued contract was about friendship. There's no way numbers me working for you guys. If I came in there and you guys just said, hey, Nebraska, we just want you to go get our sandwiches and clean the trash cans. If I leave them trash cans full for 5 days out of the week and I got 2 orders right, and you guys keep me for the next 3 years, you're freaking stupid. This doesn't make any type of educational sense. And then you just announced that he fired 4 of the assistant coaches, which we knew that needed to happen. So to me, that's not like, oh, great. That's like, duh, Ben should have been done. Now I'm in a situation like you guys. How are you going to sell me on what's going to happen next year? And even if, like Josh said, even if somehow you get to 8 or 9 wins, which that should be the standard, as you said, Josh, because, you know, we had a coach named Bo Pelini that did it every year, but we're not going to go there. If you give me 8 or 9 wins next year, John and Josh, there's almost no way you can repeat it going forward based on what you did in the past. And you just fired 4 of your offensive guys, which that's the department you're known for, which you haven't developed in 4 years. There's no development on his side. The guy you had on earlier, the Mitchell dude, he said the reason that they kept Scott was for the defense. That's not Scott. That's Shenander. Shenander, not Frost. Frost lost his job. If by what Mitchell said, Frost should have lost his job because he said the only reason we're keeping Frost is because of the defense has improved over 4 years and the tight end coach. Now, the tight end, I'll give him, but everything else has been crap. So I don't know, guys. I don't see any type of future with Frost going forward. He would have to hire the greatest offensive guys that he know or around and somehow retain them, and they not go get a head coaching job to keep it going. And then before I run out of time, Shenander coached himself into a head coaching position. There's not a school right now, and if I own one, I'm going to get Shenander. He showed me in 4 years he can build a championship defense. So we could lose Shenander to a head coaching position, which that's the guy we should promote from within because he proved it over 4 years, which is, oh my God, it's almost like I'm on a hamster wheel of death repeating myself, guys. Listen, we just kept the guy for 4 years because the guy who improved 4 years, we're not giving him the head coach.
Nebraska, thanks, my friend.
Thanks, man.
Take care. You be good out there.
Along those lines, I want to read this email real quick from Aaron. He says, after that Nate call, it sounds like you guys have probably got some pushback on your show lately. I've been listening for a long time, and you guys typically present your opinion as opinion, make it clear that the opinion of others is just as valid. Lately, you guys have almost sounded arrogant about your take on Frost. You've kind of made it sound like anyone who believes Frost should stay is some kind of moron and only thinks so because he's from Nebraska. It's okay that you think Frost should go, but recognize that no one really knows if this is the right direction or right decision or not, and only time will tell. Still love the show. Look, if it comes across that way, I don't mean for I know that we have kind of lumped in, if you want Frost back, it's only because you like the idea of Scott Frost. I do think that there is a large swath of the fan base.
There is a large swath. And we have invited Josh on a number of occasions. Other reasons. Give me other reasons. If he wasn't from Nebraska, if he wasn't a Nebraska guy, if it wasn't about, well, we got to get out of this cycle of hiring and firing. What have you seen in the program on the field that says this is it? And very few people can come up with those reasons, which is why I'm very interested to hear what Trev Alberts is going to tell us when he does talk. What improvements he has seen this year, because that was in his statement. I've seen improvements this year. I'd like to hear details on that, because obviously it's the thing that's, carrying this decision.
I guess sometimes I just wish that more people would say, look, I can't really make an argument for him coming back, but I just have faith that it's going to turn around. Because I think that there's a large swath of the fan base that really, it's about faith. It's about hope. It's about faith. It's about him it's like such a surprise that he's been so bad that he's going to be able to get it figured
Yeah.
out. And look, maybe I'll be wrong. I have been wrong many, many times. I thought Nebraska would get blown out this weekend. They did not get blown out. They lost in almost another one-score game. Maybe that's going to happen moving forward. I do think that though explains a large chunk of those who are excited to have him back. And look, if your argument is it's about faith and I just got to believe it's going to turn around, that's okay. Just, try to understand maybe why it's kind of hard for me to hear that.
Right. Yeah. And again, it could very well boil down to a college mentality versus a pro mentality, right? We don't have the same sentimental ties generally to a pro coaching job or a pro managing job.
Yeah.
Occasionally, but it's not the same as in college. And by the way, that's not just unique to Nebraska. Other places are like this too. But then I point out once again, most of the greatest coaches in the history of college sports went to school somewhere else and then became legends at a different college.
Two quick tweets.
You don't have to be from here to understand how to win here.
Cody says, it's me. There is no reason to keep him, but I feel it's going to work. See, and that's okay. It's okay to think that way, even if we disagree. And then Jack Mitchell in all caps. The other reason is I think there is more likely a chance they are better next year with him than another change. ONG. I think he meant OMG.
Looking for a pre-Thanksgiving event and a way to help the community at the same time? It's Blue Collar Boxing at the Ralston Arena, Wednesday, November 24th. That's the day before Thanksgiving. The local labor union members face off in the ring, and the proceeds benefit United Way of the Midlands and Nebraska Center for Workforce Development. Get all the details at 1620thezone.com. Again, it's just us and you the rest of the way for the last 90 minutes or so right here on the program and live, still streaming video on 1620 The Zone TV on YouTube. Back in a minute, 1620 The Zone.
1620 The Zone is easy to hear anywhere, on air, online, and on social media. Wherever you are, we are. 1620 The Zone.
Creighton Sports Update. Your Creighton men's basketball team faces Arkansas Pine Bluff tomorrow at 7 p.m. at the CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Blue Jays women's basketball team will host the Nebraska Omaha Mavericks this Saturday in DJ Sokol Arena at 1 p.m. Get your tickets today by going to Ticketmaster.com, go Creighton.com/tickets, or stop by the Creighton ticket office located at Ryan Athletic Center.
1620 The Zone proudly supports Creighton Athletics.
Make Ameristar Council Bluffs your football headquarters this season. Place your sports bet 24/7 on the casino floor or watch and wager at the sports book. Score big with 11 sports betting kiosks and 6 wagering terminals. With over 50 HD TVs, a multi-screen video wall, and real-time sports ticker, there's nowhere better to catch the game. Get all the action and the best odds in town at Ameristar Council Bluffs. Must be 21. Terms subject to change. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Sports betting is legal in Iowa and not in Nebraska.
Football season is here. Visit Discount Tire and let our pros take care of you, so you never miss a moment of the game. Get 30% shorter average wait time when you buy and book online. Use Treadwell, your personal tire guide, to find the right tire for your driving habits and get the same expert advice that you'd get in the store. At Discount Tire, we take pride in making your experience with us as easy as possible. Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Severe for Ted and Wally's 2 locations in Benson, and of course, in the Old Market. You've got to check out our social media pages. That's where you'll find a list of flavors for both locations every single day. Then you stop in and try something new. We also got some great holiday flavors as well. Make sure to stock up and get your orders in ahead of time for all your holiday parties. Ice cream is great with pies and cakes. So check out our social media feeds and see the flavors. Who doesn't love the best ice cream in town?
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
College football in Nebraska is on, and all eyes will be set on one place, the Doghouse Saloon. Don't miss the big-time big game tailgate party at the Doghouse Saloon in downtown Waterloo, starting 1 hour before every Nebraska game, with plenty of frosty cold mugs of beer along with other great drink specials. Dog's famous cooking during the game, plus the big game on the big screens and a killer patio. The big-time big game tailgate party at the Doghouse Saloon in Waterloo. New Year, same tradition. The Doghouse Saloon, downtown Waterloo.
Since this is a radio commercial, you can't see the people standing behind me. They're the Langfeld family. Everybody wave. Oh, sorry, you can't see them because radio. Anyway, the Langfelds are the family behind Langfeld Overhead Door, where they proudly install Midland garage doors to fit any space and style, and they don't take a backseat to anyone when it comes to their service. Because if something goes wrong, it's their name on the line. So they're going to make sure it goes right every single time. Langfeld Overhead Door, 402-234-2700.
Just refuse to grow up, regress, turn back the clock, be 17 again. No responsibilities, bouncing checks left and right. Chuck all your worries and stay locked in 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. with these sometimes highly immature boys of 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone's unsportsmanlike conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Quick hit up the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Brian says, why, I think it means, what have you seen from Nebraska firing coaches and starting over that makes you believe it's all of a sudden going to work if they do that? Well, you literally can argue both of those, both the arguments the same way. No, there is no guarantee that a change is going to bring success. But it's just like any other change. If something's not working, the definition of insanity is literally, just thinking that it's going to change by not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you change in hopes of improving the situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that can certainly, that can be defeated. JP says, does firing this many of the offensive staff members signal a philosophy change?
That's
the offense can't be worse. Why not use it as an opportunity for wholesale changes? It certainly can be. And I'll tell you one thing that has concerned me, and maybe the move today is going to move Nebraska in a different direction, but we've seen obviously the incorporation of option football into the offensive formula.
Mm-hmm.
But the next two quarterbacks that they recruited, the one who's on the roster now in Harburg and the one in Richard Torres, who's designed to come starting next year, they're not option quarterback guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a little confusing to me. It's almost like the option was thrown in as a plug and play. Now, maybe, there'll be changes so that either the coaches that are brought in or the offensive philosophy brought in will be built more around the strengths of the players they've recruited, or they're going to be recruiting a different type of player.
Yeah, there was a tweet about 2 hours ago from Mike Schaefer. This was before the announcements had been made with the assistants. He says, here's what I'd like to see now that a path has been shown. Scrap the Oregon/UCF offense, do some soul searching. The offense really can't get worse, need a real change. Look, I'll be honest. I like the idea of them trying to do something different. I love the idea of them trying to run the option. I love the idea of them trying to run the I formation. I love the idea of anything that would work. And that's that, as we always talk about, what do you want? Some people, I think, they want it just with Frost. Some people want the program to win regardless. Some people want them to win it with a certain type of offense. I want them to win, period. But the idea of an I formation power offense, I don't hate it. Wisconsin has shown it can work. Iowa has shown it can work. Now, the hard part about that is that there might be growing pains. Like you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
What is this going to mean for recruiting? What would that mean for the coaches or the players that are on the roster or that will be on the roster? What would that mean for a Logan Smothers? What would that mean if Adrian's back? I don't know the answer to that. That said, that idea sounds like a lot of fun, but can it work?
I don't care what offense they run.
Yeah.
I want them to be better coached. The reason Nebraska has been not winning has been less based on the schemes they're running than the people that have been teaching it and playing it. That's why they've been winning and losing games, mostly losing.
Mm-hmm.
It's because either the people that they have had teaching the schemes and coaching the schemes haven't been right, or the players haven't been good enough. So, They don't have to make any massive changes in terms of what they do offensively or defensively. I just want to see it better coached. I want to see development.
And
development has been the constant thing that has been lacking in this program for several years. You don't see guys come in large numbers getting better when they leave. Look at the NFL draft results. It tells you everything you need to know.
And I would say this, before the phone calls, happy hour, all that stuff. And I want to have this discussion at some point in time, but there's been a lot of talk lately about if they only had an Amir Abdullah, if they only had a Randy Gregory, a Levante David, the stars from the last 15, 20 years, if they only had insert player X, to which I say, yes, of course. Having a bona fide great pass rusher on the outside would have done this defense wonders. Having a tailback that could clean up a lot of the miscues would do this offense wonders. A really great center, a left tackle, whatever it is. I will meet you halfway and say, okay, is this the coach that is going to bring in those players and then develop them? Because, yeah, we can all say, how much better would my team be if they had, not this year's Patrick Mahomes. If they had insert player here, yeah, of course, any team. If Nebraska had Russell Wilson as their quarterback in 2011, what would they have meant? Probably a championship of some sort. They probably would have won the Big Ten. But they don't have those guys right now. And can they bring in those guys? And then can they develop those guys? And that's the sneaky part of all this with recruiting is you have to be able to identify them. And for this staff, they got to be able to coach them up too.
All right, the happy hour is coming up next. All the callers, stay right there. We're coming to you next. 402-951-1620, Lanahaw Nurseries hotline. It's John and Josh with Grim on the Grum, still streaming live video at USC at our at 1620 The Zone TV on YouTube, right here on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. No wrecks to avoid as you make your way across the metro. We are seeing some delays out on West Center Road around 156th. Also some delays on eastbound I-80 between 84th and 72nd. Some delays on L Street from both directions right around the JFK. And on westbound 370 just before I-80. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Burton AC Plumbing, Heating, and More.
Hi, I'm Mark Evans, owner of Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More. Right now, we'll open your drain line for only $93 or it's free. Call for details or request service at justcallburton.com.
Hello, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. We are now open and ready to serve you at our second location at 202nd and Pacific. You may ask, why are we growing so fast? It's simple. With Equitable Bank, you get the best of both worlds. A great digital banking platform backed by our customer service. Once you bank with us, you'll never want to leave. When you're ready for a superior banking experience, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
We invite you to find your mechanic at Dingman's Mechanical. Mike did.
I had vibration in the wheel. I called Todd on a Friday afternoon. I was leaving town the next day. He fit me in at 4 o'clock. By the time I got there, he had the parts sitting there, ready to go.
Why do you trust Dingman's Mechanical?
Dingman's, I feel, really goes the extra mile. Super knowledgeable, super trustworthy. Experiences I had with them. They took care of the cars. They took care of the problems. They took care of me, the customer.
Thanks, Mike. The next time you need mechanical service, visit us at Dingman's Mechanical Repair, dingmansmechanical.com.
Here's an opportunity for business-to-business salespeople. NRG Media is looking for someone who gets excited about helping local businesses grow. Are you an idea person who can create and execute a plan? We should talk. At NRG Media, we create local marketing campaigns designed to meet a key challenge. On air, online, on-site, audio, video. It's all part of what you could do. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Business-to-business salespeople? Apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Elite Sportsbook has you covered with $70 in free bets available on select days in November. Go long with a $25 football wager and receive an easy $10 free bet. Spread the board with three $50 college football wagers and receive a $20 free bet. Plus, new members receive their first bet risk-free up to $500. Download the app and play your game with Elite Sportsbook. Valid only in Iowa. Must be 21. Gambling a problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
We are courtside. KP here with more satisfied and happy John Higgins Weather Guard customers.
I've had many family and friends that have asked me about roofing needs, and we have recommended Weather Guard over and over, and every time they've come through.
Make the right call, fans. America's leading installer of Da Vinci roofs and roofs of all styles. The rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard, providing the highest level of customer service with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau.
Roof of Reese. Roof of Reese.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Throw. 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 Throw.
Now, friends of the program, we have to put out this disclaimer. This is not being played because of the news of today, but when the Huskers are playing coming off of a loss,
correct,
and it's the first Monday,
correct,
and it's the first Monday happy hour, we say the unhappy hour is on the air. One of these days on a Monday, we'll get to play the real happy hour theme.
Yeah!
Well, we will next week because there won't be a game on Saturday. And by the way, 4 and Farron is still alive.
It is. So is my record. For one more week.
That's true.
For sure. It will still be here on Monday.
If
5 and 7 is still in the cards.
But if Wisconsin wins, Josh is off the board, and Mike Farron's the last person of our media experts to get it right in 2021.
Kyle says, for what it's worth, I enjoy the all show long YouTube. I work from home, and having it on the TV is nicer than the phone app. Very cool of you to say that you really like the whole show like this.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And
interesting.
We are working on some things.
Oh, are we?
We're working on some things. Today is a special edition. We decided we just made an editorial choice after we had our Jack Mitchell segment, which is always streamed on the YouTube TV, to stay up because today we knew it was a big day. If you missed it, you just get in the car, you've been hiding under a rock, you don't talk to anybody else at work.
Hey, maybe your boss doesn't allow you to get on the internet.
That could be too.
We're here for you.
Trev Alberts has announced Scott Frost will be back next year. There will be a restructured contract. Details still to come. Then, about an hour later-ish, Scott Frost announced that assistant coaches Greg Austin, Ryan Held, Matt Lubick, and Mario Verduzco have been relieved of duties. And they will be using the various analysts, also Ron Brown, who are among the extended staff to fill those spots for the rest of the season. Obviously, permanent hires at those positions are still to come. So it's been a busy news day. We've been taking your calls. We've been taking your emails into the Equitable Bank inbox, the JTech Construction's own Twitter feed at USC 1620. I haven't even looked to see what our poll. What is our poll done?
I don't know, John. You tell me.
Well, let's take a look here. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, there's a lot of
tweets
to get through.
Here we go. We asked you, which of the following options best fits your opinion of today's news? 63% say, let's go!
53 or 63?
63.
Ooh,
63.
Large number.
24% say, oh, no. And 13% of you believe that this decision should have waited until after the Iowa game.
I will say, to how large was that percentage?
For Iowa?
No, for the for the last one.
13.
People have called me arrogant today, and maybe that's true. Those 13% of people are wrong. I think whatever was going to happen, you can agree or disagree with this decision.
Mm-hmm.
I've already said I disagree with it. If they were going to announce it, they had to do it now. They had to do it now. They had to do it before the bye week. And I know, because I saw some people earlier when I said because they're recruiting, people scoff at that. And I get it, because this recruiting class is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are going to move forward, you have to announce the plan and you have to move forward. the last two games, I don't want to say they would have been worthless data points, but I mean, at this point in time, what more do you need to see? He's
Right.
coached 42 games at Nebraska, 42 games. He's won 15 of them. A win over Wisconsin should not have changed anything. A win over Iowa should not have changed anything. And I would also say a loss over either of those two teams. 3-8 versus 5-7 versus 4-8. It's all the same. It's all under 500, and they're not going to a bowl game. So, no, they had to make a move. They had to announce I guess, if they were going to fire him, I don't think that they would have announced it today. But I definitely think that they had to, if they were bringing him back, today's the day to announce it. This week is the week to announce it. And now, once again, disagree with the move. That's fine. I do. Now you move forward and you start turning the page till next year.
Friends, let me make a promise to all of you. To those of you who are upset at Josh and I for disagreeing with today's decision, I'm going to make this promise to you.
Are you promising for me too?
No, I'm just for me.
Okay. I don't know. I have no idea what you're about
just
to
for
say.
me.
Yeah.
If Nebraska next year can win 9 games with Scott Frost, I will be happy to come here on this program, and we'll even put it up on the video. Who knows? Maybe we'll be on the video permanently by then.
Interesting idea.
And I will say I was wrong.
If they win how many games?
9. They get to 9 next year.
Yeah.
And I'll say 9 with or without the bowl. I don't care.
9-3, 9-4.
They get to 9.
9-5.
They get to 9. However they get to 9. If they
You
get to
don't care.
9 next year, I will be happy to come on this program and say, hey, I was wrong.
Absolutely.
Because I'm not afraid to be wrong.
No.
And like you, Josh.
I'm wrong all the time.
And like you, Josh, this is not about who the coach is. This is about wanting a better direction and more success from the program. This is not personal. This is business. And in my world, as I was growing up as a little Husker fan, all I wanted was wins. Now, my generation was spoiled AF. We were spoiled because we got nothing but wins. Nothing but wins. I got sentimental over wins. Okay? So, getting what we're getting today was a foreign concept back in the day. I believe today's announcement has, not intentionally, because I do believe that the intent of Trev Alberts is to win, but I believe unintentionally, today's announcement has lowered the standard at Nebraska, and the standard is more, we'd rather lose with a friend than try to win with a stranger. And that doesn't mean it's guaranteeing losing. It just means that right now in this state where we sit in this program, Nebraska's more comfortable keeping what they have, knowing it has been a losing proposition for the last 4 years, versus making the tough choice and saying, we've got to make a change, and it's going to mean leaving the family, if you will. I believe that Nebraska's standard has changed today, and the standard is more about having friends in high places than it is about winning with strangers.
Josh says this announcement, talking about everything today, both the retainment of Frost and the firing of the assistants, is really difficult to process. A head coach whose team has annually underachieved, fired his entire offensive staff, editor's note, except for Sean Beckton, including a 2020 hire. The changes were necessary, but the optics are bizarre, removing 4 staff members and keeping the leader. Yeah, this is, one of the ways that you have often described the Scott Frost hire is the break glass in case of emergency. This move is a true break glass in case of emergency. Because on one hand, you will have some who will say, I love this. This is awesome. New blood. And look, even me, as somebody who thinks that the wrong decision was made biggest of pictures, this is much more enticing than running it back again. Much more enticing. because there will be new voices. There will be new ideas, maybe an actual new play caller. I love all of those ideas. On the other side, the argument against it is, yeah, but the guy in charge is still the guy in charge. If you don't trust your boss, if that's the person, if that's the reason that wherever you're at, that you're struggling, and so you make all these other changes around you, but your boss is still in charge, there are going to be certain things that go certain ways still because that ultimate person is in charge. I maybe it was on overreaction. Honestly, it might have been Michael who said it, but I heard somebody this weekend say it's like knowing the marriage is done and going to counseling. You know it's done. You know where this is going, but that's, hey, let's change some things up. Let's try. This this can, if this works, that opinion is going to be asinine. If it doesn't, that opinion is going to be spot on, though, of, hey, you tried this is because this really is like that one last thing, especially with that side of the ball. You couldn't have run it back. You just couldn't have. And so they're trying one more thing differently.
If this works, and listen, Nebraska's already overachieved historically as a program, as I pointed out on this program many times in the past. Historically, Nebraska is one of the greatest overachieving programs of all time. When you look at the lack of population as compared to a lot of other major colleges. If this works out, Nebraska will also buck another trend. And we pointed this out a couple weeks ago, thanks to the Stumanji Sports Bureau. But of the 105 coaches since 1971 who had 0 winning seasons, 0 bowl appearances, 1 or fewer wins versus ranked teams, and win percentage less than 39%, which is where Scott Frost is currently and will likely finish this year, of those 105 coaches, only 2 since 1971 have gone on to have a win percentage above 500 at that same school. Dennis Stoles of Bowling Green and Greg Schiano at Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only 2. None of those coaches went on to win a major conference championship at their school. None of those coaches ever finished in the AP top 10 at those schools. If Nebraska can do those things, they will be the first to do it since 1971.
Mm-hmm. So it would buck a lot of trends. Real quick, Jeff says no mention of special teams. No, I mean, look, they didn't have a special teams coordinator to fire. So no mention there at this point in time, but we'll see.
All right, let's go to the Lanahan Nurseries hotline and welcome in Mark. Thank you for waiting, Mark, and being patient with us. You're on 1620 The Zone.
How's it going?
Hey.
Kind of a hectic Monday. I'm going to get right into it. I don't know you guys. According to Nate, that's probably a good thing. I got some questions. If the progress being made is acceptable, why change the contract and why change staff? We're going to be on our 3rd offensive coordinator, and we haven't even completed 4 years under Frost.
Good point. Didn't even think about that, but you're right.
I gotten a few text messages from Pro Frost people today, rubbing it in, like Nate called, and all I could say is Nate and people who have messaged me today are the type of fans come June or July. Do you think Martinez is going to contend for the Heisman? Do you think we're going to contend for this conference? And you got to look at them and be like, we're doing the same thing we've been doing for 4 years. So what happens if we go out and we get a spread guy to call plays? I really think that Nebraska is a place you need to run the ball 60-65% of the time. Osborne was on to something. Genius of a coach. He even said it after the 92 Colorado game. This climate, this locale, you got to jam it at people. Northwestern, I thought, hey, we're going to make some changes on offense. And it looked good. And then we go back and default to ourselves and try to make Martinez a drop back passer. I don't understand anything that's going on down in Lincoln right now.
Mark, thanks for the call. It's a great point, though. And 3rd offensive coordinator.
Hadn't think of that or thought of that.
In 5 years.
Yeah.
third offensive coordinator, and that was supposed to be the side of the ball that Frost had it down, had it down pat.
And I think, as we always talk this stuff out, there is that's like maybe the gross part of all this, or maybe the most gross isn't the right word. The most frustrating part of all this is this would all be so much more palatable if the offense was the side of the ball.
In a weird way, it would be.
It'd
even
be
if the
so
results,
much more palatable.
Even if the results were the same, instead of losing, 26-17 to Ohio State, they were losing, 63-42 to Ohio State.
It'd be frustrating, but at least it would make sense.
Right.
Like 2009.
Because offense was supposed to be where they were supposed to be great.
2009, it was a bummer that the offense was trash, but the defense was so good, and it was a defensive head coach, so it was like, okay, this is awesome.
Makes sense.
By the end of the Bo era, it was like, oh, man, the defense is the part of the ball that is struggling. So, that is a large reason why I think a lot of people are as frustrated as they are today. And, really one of the quick frustrations of just the day and all the news unfolding is I really did want to talk about Adrian and him being hurt and kind of what we have seen over the last month. And that's another reminder, the breakdown, we recorded it earlier. We'll put it up on the podcast. We talked about that just a little bit with DB. But
I do wonder if today's news predicts something for Adrian Martinez. If either he's not coming back by his own choice, or if Scott Frost is going to steer him to not coming back. I do wonder if today's news and replacing all the offensive assistants also predicts a change at quarterback. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. Here is Daisy, I believe. Davey. I'm sorry, Davey. There was a Z up there instead of a V.
Go figure. Oh boy, hard to make of it. So I'm with you guys. It's just mind-boggling. But I mean, I guess you got to look at it maybe from the business decision from Alberts and what the coaching pool would be like, how competitive it would be. Seems like that might have had something to do with it, more so than him being the Nebraska-bred kid. I feel like.
I don't know. Good question.
Right?
Yeah. Dave, is that it?
No, and I would say, what are you looking for? Any names for the staff, new offensive coordinator?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But this is going to be different. We talked about this. Thanks for the call, Davey. We talked about this, Michael and I did on Saturday, that this is going to be brand new territory for Scott Frost. Now, obviously, when he started at Central Florida, he probably had an idea of the people he was going to hire.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, Walters was already there, correct? A couple of the guys were already
Walters
there.
was there and Becton was there.
Right.
If I remember right.
But a lot of the people he brought in were people he had relations with. He had a past with. Obviously, he'd been around Mario.
Been around Austin.
Been around Health. So now he's going to go out there and likely have to find folks that he has never worked with before.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe not. Sometimes these things do come around to people that you've had experience with, but this is going to be different. He has now been asked to, he and Mario have been together on and off for the last 20 years or 15 years. That's gone. Ryan Held, who has been one of their better recruiters, is now gone.
Yeah.
They've been buds. Greg Austin.
Yeah. A former Husker. Him and Held, both
Lubick,
former Huskers.
He was consulting with Lubick before Troy Walters got let go.
Yeah, Lubick was doing work for Nebraska in 2019. I don't know if it was off the books, but he was helping out.
But this is going to be, dare I say, a little bit of virgin territory for Scott Frost. Now going out there on the open market, and who knows, maybe he's got a few ideas already out there, or ideas have been thought out. Gary Crawford, is Trev Alberts going to be involved in maybe helping shepherd a few of these new hires? Does he know of people?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would say this. I'm a little leery when athletic directors get too involved in making staff decisions. We saw that happen with Mike Riley and Mark Banker.
And Bob Iacco.
I'm not a big fan of that. I believe, and this is a me thing, I believe a management style is you got your main manager and he hires his department heads and he trusts those department heads to go out there and make the best decisions for those departments. Scott Frost is the department head for Nebraska football. So I get a little, and again, this is all speculation. Maybe Alberts isn't that closely involved. If he were, I'd be a little concerned because that's not truly trusting your department heads.
Well, so I guess, are you wondering aloud right now if he forced him to fire these coaches, or do you think that?
Oh, I mean, listen, again, we don't know who came up with the decision. I do believe, based on the timing of everything, this was part of the reason why the announcement came out today. The timing of today's announcements were not a coincidence.
I'm stunned that they announced. I guess we didn't.
I guess I didn't expect it to happen today.
That's what I am stunned by that.
But
part.
I'm not surprised that would it be conditional? I guarantee you, if Scott Frost had walked in and Trev said, "All right, Scott, what's your plan?"
Mm-hmm.
And if Frost's plan didn't involve making personnel changes,
that he would have said,
"Congratulations,
take care."
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's your severance check. Good night.
Yeah.
So I do believe that the things are connected.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing because it may have already been in Frost's head that, yeah, we got to make some changes.
Yeah.
But there's no question that these staff moves are connected to Frost still keeping his job.
And maybe I'm naive in what I'm about to say, as someone who has been obviously very critical of Frost throughout his tenure here. I would have been blown away if he would have gotten a 5th year and would not have made any changes. I didn't see that happening. And so I know we've explored the topic of, do you think Trev will force him to? There's no way that he can look at his program as it currently stands, especially the offensive side of the ball, and say, this is okay. Because it's not. It's not okay. The defense, like I had somebody ask me earlier, are you surprised about the defense? Not at all. Why would anybody on that side of the ball get let go? Now the thing is going to be, now Nebraska's going to have to play defense against their defense. They're going to try to do whatever they can to keep that side of the ball together because they obviously gel. You see it in the way in which they're written about. You see it in the way in which they're talked about, that there is a message that starts at the top with Chenander, it goes down to his assistants, and it goes down to the players. I think it was Sam McEwen, either him or Parker, that in their column today, the rewind columns, they basically said, I think it was Sam, their the players' quotes sound like they come from the top guy, from Eric Chenander.
Mm-hmm.
There is that system is working really, really well. I know that it's not forcing enough turnovers and it's not getting enough splash plays, but they're doing, I think, really all that they can with that side of the ball at this moment.
Nebraska's defense has played well enough all season long to win really all of their games.
So now they have to play defense on the defense.
I suppose maybe Michigan wasn't the best. But for the most part, Nebraska's defense has played well enough to win every single game this year. I can't find hardly any fault Nebraska's defense.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's like the first half against Minnesota, and then the second half versus Purdue. Those were tough. Those were tough moments for the defense, but it wasn't like, Ohio State had the longest play of the season against Nebraska on Saturday. I think the longest play going into that game was about 50 yards. Sam had that in his rewind, and Ohio State finally broke close to 80 yards.
Thomas writes, main reason to buy 4 years of insight and learning what it takes to compete and succeed at a place like Nebraska. And then for him to be Frost, able to apply those insights and make the type of changes necessary to make progress and get the Huskers to where they need to be. Main reason to sell, not seeing results and the head coach nor staff getting the job done. Huskers haven't shown enough progress to continue on with their current path. Thus, program needs to head in a new alternate direction. Real question I'd like answered, what do the Huskers look like in 22 based on the moves and who comes back next year?
Folks,
perhaps there are some conspiracy theories that can be made about Frost having the inside track on certain players returning for one more season, hence those players as coaches getting retained. Why let go of the entire offensive staff except for one position coach? Makes you think.
Oh, so he's saying because all the offense is basically gone, that means that a lot of those players are gone too. Interesting.
Here is Tim up next on the Lanahaw Nurseries hotline. Good afternoon, Tim.
Hey, guys. What's going on?
Hey, man.
First, I want to say I agree with you both that this was not the move. So I guess we just wait, see how it all shakes out. But I'm still holding on a little bit of hope that this is a smokescreen that allows Scott to walk away after these next two losses, saving face. But I guess we can just hold out hope for that. But I was going to say, Frost, obviously was willing to sacrifice, these 4 offensive assistants to save his job. You guys have already mentioned he's the offensive genius, allegedly, but whatever. So, and again, I think you guys kind of touched based on this a little bit. What does this mean for the absolute dumpster fire of a recruiting class that they've got going on right now? December 15th is the early signing day, a little over a month away. And I mean, I've got it on pretty good authority that Trev is not a huge fan of his organization skills. So how does he plan on recruiting into this early period with Ron Brown and a bunch of GAs for one? And, I'm not just talking about the high school kids that they either have committed already and need to convince to try to stay committed if they plan on keeping them and honoring all of those commitments. I'm also talking about some pretty highly skilled current players. And again, you guys just kind of touch base on one of those guys a little bit, mysteriously. And then my last thing is, and what happens if any of his defensive assistants use this season, which they've overachieved tremendously, as an opportunity to bolt, because they see the writing might be on the wall and their stock may never be any higher than it is right now. Can we trust Frost to make that many hires in an off season that could potentially have the ability to change the course of his current trajectory? I'll hang up and let you
Tim,
guys.
those are all really good questions. We've addressed a couple of them a little bit, but on the recruiting front, I think, listen, they've made and we knew this from weeks ago. I mean, Frost has said as much. They've made their bed with recruiting because of all the super seniors that have come back. They were obviously going to be left with a short class. Now, we don't know what that final number is going to be because we don't know how many players are going to be transferring out, opting out, leaving, whatever the case is. I believe the recruiting strategy has been and continues to be they're going to hit the transfer portal really hard and they're going to hit the JUCOs really hard. And so this first signing day, which is a month away, I don't know how much of that they're going to be able to make up. Obviously, with the transfer portal, you're going to have most of the activity after the season is done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what you may end up seeing is something that's a lot more akin to what Mel Tucker did at Michigan State. But if you're expecting, a top 50 ranked recruiting class, it's not going to happen.
No, because
it's not happening because of numbers and because of what they have already determined they were going to do. They're going to hit the portal and they're going to hit the JUCOs.
Yeah.
That's where they're going to go with this recruiting class. So if you're looking for 4-year players, they're going to be very short on supply.
Yeah, and so, once again, I keep saying the word hope today. What your hope is and what faith that you're going to have to put into them is that they're able to really hit that portal hard and they're able to bring in guys that can contribute immediately. You mentioned the defensive side of the ball. I continue to wonder what the offense is going to look like. Because if Adrian is gone, like I said earlier, I'd be stunned if Logan Smothers is back. Now that there's no inside information there. That's just me reading the tea leaves of what Frost has said, and that Adrian had a broken jaw and was still the starter. They felt more comfortable with a broken jaw / bummed ankle than they did Logan Smothers or certainly any of the other guys behind him. I wouldn't be surprised if he is gone too. So you're probably looking at quarterback, skill position players. Which of those guys are going to be back next year?
You could have all new receivers next year.
Because Touré's certainly gone.
Touré's gone. Who knows what's going to happen with Omar?
Mm-hmm.
And would it surprise you if Xavier Betts wasn't back next year?
No, exactly.
I'm not going on any other information there, but would it surprise you? It wouldn't surprise me.
So you have that. So you're looking at, it's going to be a real radical shift. I know that, next year, if it would have been a new head coach, it was going to look different. It's going to look different with Frost. The defense is going to have a huge changeover. Maybe Elder is
honestly, the stability argument.
Yeah, it's not going to
about the one thing that's going to be stable is the guy in charge.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of moving pieces underneath from the assistant coaches on down.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of moving pieces. Next year's has the potential of having some violent roster turnover.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, violent.
That's a good call.
Not as a not as a negative.
There won't be
verb.
literal violence. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, you said if Nebraska wins 9 games, you'll come on the air and say I was wrong. A brave soul you are, John. R.C. Cullis says, how about he eats poison eggs on air instead?
I'm not eating poison eggs.
Get the eggs.
I'm not eating poison.
If
I'm not
Nebraska's good, I'll say I was sorry and I was wrong. Bing bong. Eat the eggs. Hashtag
the eggs, you
bing
coward.
bong, eat the
I
eggs.
was waiting.
Bing
Coward.
bong, eat
It took
the
this
eggs.
long. It
Bing
took
bong,
3.
Eat the eggs.
It took 3 hours and 19 minutes for Josh's murder cult to make an
Nah.
appearance on today's program. 402-951-1620. We continue with more of your reaction. Scott Frost is back,
folks,
on 1620 The Zone.
Kevin Kugler here from Westwood One with a preview of Monday Night Football with the Bears at the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger and Pittsburgh are 4-3, but on a 3-game winning streak and are just a game back in the AFC North. Chicago is looking to break a 3-game losing trend and get past some key injuries, especially on defense. Join Trent Green and me for all the action on Monday Night Football.
Omaha's home for the NFL. 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Clouding over tonight with low temperatures in the low to mid 40s. Clouds to start Tuesday, but they're giving way to sunshine and high temperatures reaching close to 60. Rain is likely as we head toward Wednesday. I am Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Currently doesn't look like we have any major wrecks to avoid on the drive home. We're seeing a little bit of a delay on eastbound L Street just after I-80. Also delays on eastbound I-80 between 84th and 72nd. And the same goes around 144th and Industrial Road. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Fernando's Omaha.
Come on, when was the last time you had your Fernando's fix? It doesn't get any better than lunch, dinner, carry-out, even catering from Fernando's. Get your Fernando's fix. 114th and Dodge, 75th and Pacific, and FernandosOmaha.com.
Fall is the perfect time for modern LASIK at Kugler Vision. Think of it as an early holiday gift for you. And the money you have just sitting there in your flex plan or your health savings account, use that for your procedure at Kugler Vision. Go to KuglerVision.com and remember, 0% interest payments are available for you. Head over to KuglerVision.com right now. They make it simple for you. They'll book the appointment right there on the website. It's simple. KuglerVision.com. That's KuglerVision.com.
So then I dropped some garlic and croutons on there, and the rest is salad history. I made the best salad ever, people, and now I'm making the best app. The Caesar Sportsbook app got live in-game betting, parlays, and Caesar rewards. Caesar salad ain't got nothing on my app. Nothing.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. Your app is ready, Emperor.
Go to BaxterAuto.com to shop the highest quality used and certified pre-owned trucks, SUVs, crossovers, and more. All Baxter pre-owned vehicles come with a 7-day return policy and 90-day, 3,000-mile warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Visit BaxterAuto.com for more details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The Olympic curling trials are back in Omaha November 12th through the 21st at Baxter Arena. Want to learn to curl yourself? Book a Learn to Curl experience by visiting omahasports.org/curling trials. Limited spots are available, so book yours today.
The one, the only, Oysterfest is back at Shuck's Fish House. Oysters on the half shell, by the dozen for $1 an oyster. East Points, Chesapeake's, Malpecs, and more. Wednesday and Thursday, November 10th and 11th at all 3 locations. Find out more at shucksfishhouse.com.
It's unsportsmanlike conduct.
A minute in French is called a Peterson.
On 1620 The Zone.
Welcome back. John, Josh, and Nick. Good news about today is Josh and I don't have to talk about how crappy the Rams and Cowboys looked yesterday.
Yeah! If we didn't
darn,
hey, raise your hand if your
time.
team won.
Oh.
How about the Dolphins?
All right, well, with that said, we're going to go to the phones. Let's go to the Atlanta Hot Nurseries hotline where Jason has been waiting. Good afternoon, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys.
Hey.
You know, with this decision for what we're doing, it reminds me of the Frank Solich when he had to fire his assistants, and then he brought in some new assistants, and he was pretty much gone the next season. And it looks like we're going that route again. I mean, which is fine, I guess, as long as it's a success. And it looks like this offense is going to be overhauled. I hope our QB1 right now, I think he should leave. I don't know what he's going to do, but it would seem to me that if he came back for one more final season, it could be a disaster for everybody, including himself. But that's really, I mean, you guys think that we're going to lose all the receivers and stuff. Well, that's not really good right there. I mean, what do we expect to do next year if our whole offensive side's cleared out and everything? So that's the only question I got right now. And because I think our defense is going to be fine, but I mean, Frost was supposed to have this offense under control by now, and I guess we're playing a quarterback that had a bum ankle and a broken jaw because he can't put somebody else in there to play for him. So, I mean, what's really going on there as far as that goes? Because I figured the QB room would be the most secure by now, by year 4.
Jason, appreciate it. Thanks.
I don't want to be like flippant in responding, but whenever I get those questions, man, I thought the offense was going to be handled, or I thought the quarterback room was going to be handled. The answer to me is fairly obvious: of just not as good at identifying / developing quarterbacks as we thought he was. And
Right.
I think the answer can be as simple as that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's more nuanced than that. I mean, certainly this year, Adrian, he's been banged up, and the offensive line has been horrible. So that explains one thing. It does not explain, though, the backups. It does not explain why Logan has been unable to get on the field. It does not explain why, Harburg's so young.
That's the thing. And announcing, and we can get into more of this tomorrow, but announcing when he did and with the specificity of the injury, while that can generate some sympathy and some understanding, it's also an indictment of your quarterback room that you got a guy who was willing to play through a broken jaw, and you didn't think that the guy behind him was good enough to replace a guy with a broken jaw.
Yeah. Well, you know what, John? Now, honestly, let me just proffer a theory. Just talking out loud. He announces that Saturday. 2 days later, the entire offensive staff, except for one guy, is gone. Have we seen the last of Adrian Martinez this year? One of the things.
That's what I wonder.
Once again, another reminder: the Damon Benning breakdown will be, available for you exclusively on the podcast.
Radio replay.
But I asked him because one of the descriptors that I saw of the press conference over the weekend that I really liked was it had a schools out feel, where Adrian, they finally talk about Adrian's injuries. Austin Allen openly is talking about the NFL and it's 50-50 on if he'll be back. The scene after the game with JoJo Domann, families on the field taking pictures with his jersey. They talk about his injury. It almost felt like, wow, the season is done. And yet we know 2 games are remaining. So you couple that with, and Damon's theory, a quick synopsis was, they're not going to a bowl now. So it maybe allowed them to be a bit more open, and there's a bye week coming up. So it allowed for all that. But I wonder is it that ridiculous of a notion to say, have we seen the last of multiple players, especially on offense, and with a bunch of new coaches all over the place, new/old. I mean, it's guys that are already in the program. I don't know. Just something I'm kind of wondering about right now.
Here is Dave in Vegas. Hi, Dave. Thanks for waiting. You're on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, John. Hey, Josh. Hey,
Dave.
John, great overreaction on Saturday. Really good. And Well, at least today gives you guys something to talk about for the next 2 weeks. But no, John and Josh, I'm already shocked that Logan Smothers hasn't already gone into the transfer portal because, he's been the backup, and if that quarterback is hurt, if Frost told Martinez, I need you to play. I know you're hurt, but I need you to play because I don't have anybody else. Man, the writing's on the wall. Man, John and Josh, I will be surprised after the last game on Iowa. Look, I don't expect them to win the next 2 games.
Sure.
Wisconsin might be a blowout. They might only score 3 or 7 points, but I will be shocked if the over-under on guys not coming back or transfer portal totaled altogether would be around 15, And Xavier Bett's teammate from Bellevue West is playing more than he is at Iowa, Xavier Betts was, told that this offense was going to be good, and so did Armar Manning, as it hasn't turned out to be. All last summer, it was all the talk of the media was the offense is going to be good, But, look, Frost is basically a lame duck coach, right, in waiting. Because if he only wins 5 games next year, which is a real possibility, he might be gone. And I know this is a lot, but, boy, if I'm Shenander, while the iron's hot, while I had my defense playing good and my stats were good, man, I'd be looking around if I was him. There's going to be great defensive coordinator jobs in college football, next year. And if I was Shenander, man, while the iron's hot, I'd be looking, because I could say a lot more, but I kind of jealous you guys are on the radio. You guys got a good job.
Yes, we do, Dave.
Yes, we do. As bad as we are at our job.
Yeah.
According to
Nathan.
Yeah,
call her Nathan.
We're still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to happen with Shenander? And I think I mentioned this the week after we learned of his father's passing. You don't know what a major life change does to an individual.
Yeah.
Does that push him more towards finding something like a head coaching job, or does that push him more towards, I just want to stay in a place where I feel comfortable, I feel like I'm at home? So I have no idea. But in a normal circumstance, Eric Shenander is going to get some looks and at least some inquiries from other places, either for a head coaching job at a smaller place or a defensive coordinator job.
Yeah.
Because he's been really, really good the last 4 years. He is, as much as we talk about JoJo Doman and Cam Taylor-Britt and others putting good tape out there, that defense has been putting good tape out there on Eric Shenander for the better part of the last couple of seasons, especially this year.
Yeah. So does the right offer come along? Does the school, maybe he plans on going into the offseason saying, of course I want to be back for another year. But if he looks at the roster, says, man, a lot of younger guys, a lot of newer players, and an opportunity to go somewhere else and move on, that, that can be enticing for some. I think that you hit on something though there. We've all dealt with various big, sad, impacting life decisions, some and happy life decisions as well. We all respond to them in different ways. How does he respond to, something big in his life?
Here is Andrew. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Hey guys, just a few takes on this. I don't think with them having him overhaul his staff that it's a 1 year, let's say, extension or what they're giving him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they're going to give him a couple years to figure this out.
Andrew, I thought the same thing a few weeks ago, and I stand by that. I agree.
And if Frost brings in an offensive coordinator,
mm-hmm.
Will he most likely remove himself from the offense and let that offensive coordinator hire his people and call the play?
I don't know.
It's a great question.
I mean, you want to talk about a change. I mean, today's news, pretty big changes. You want to talk about a change?
That would be a change.
Scott Frost relinquishing play calling duties?
Yeah, that'd be a change.
Or totally handing off the offense to somebody else, as he has let Shenander run the whole thing. And thanks for the call, Andrew. He's let Shenander roll, right? Frost doesn't usually walk into that room. He says, Eric, it's your ball. You do with it what you need to. You know what I'm expecting of you. But if Frost decides, hey, I'm done with play calling and offensive design, I'm going to turn it over to somebody else. Now that would be a big change.
But hey, it's a program that's been losing. It doesn't sound that ridiculous.
That change would surprise the hell out of me.
It would probably surprise me too. It would probably surprise
because
me
I
too.
still think Frost feels that he knows what he's doing, and he still believes strongly in what he's doing. All right, back with more after this. Stay right there. 1620 The Zone.
Big Red Overreaction is the true Husker fan venting venue. It starts immediately when the game ends on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and on 1620 The Zone's social media platforms.
I'm Addison, and I'm proud of the work I've done during my 7 years as Signature Performance. My favorite part of my job is the variety. My signature story had me initially working medical claims, but I've since pivoted to many important projects across different departments, growing professionally and personally along the way. Whether I'm collaborating with our associates, learning a new skill, or creating something that helps my team, I know I make an impact in our commitment to lowering our nation's healthcare administration costs.
Start your signature story. Apply today at signatureperformance.com/careers.
It's that time of year again. So I got you a little present. My festive holiday feast. Get one of my medium specialty pies, like my classic combo or my taco pie, plus a medium one-topper, and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread with festive holiday sprinkles. All this for only $28.99. I always get sentimental this time of year. About pizza. Order my festive holiday feast today.
Over the past year, the Nebraska Strong Recovery Project has been working around the state to provide support to Nebraskans impacted by COVID-19, from educators and essential workers to farmers and factory workers. If you or someone you know needs crisis counseling and support, call the Rural Response Hotline at 1-800-464-0258 or the Nebraska Family Helpline at 1-888-866-8660. Together, we are Nebraska Strong.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Trees, supplying oxygen, providing shelter, and reducing pollution. They're a symbol for life. Lanahaw Nurseries is the metro area's premier homegrown tree source. Leave a legacy that matters. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
I want to thank everybody who's been with us today, especially our viewers on 1620 The Zone TV. During the breaks, I've been trying to share a few of the comments that we get. We can post those up there. So, again, thanks. And while this is not a permanent thing for now, we are looking at some things in 2022 that might allow us to be seen a little more often.
Yeah, and speaking of 2022, I've noticed a change in a lot of our commercials that are airing. The holiday spirit. It's a vibe, John. It's a vibe in the hallway.
It sure is a vibe.
It's a vibe.
You're using it right, but I'm not happy about
it. Nick's so excited for Christmas so he can play video games some more, I'm sure.
I don't like Christmas.
It's November the 8th, kids.
Yep. One of my friends has been listening to Christmas music for a week.
Let's let...
which of these friends that have been institutionalized?
Oh, come on now.
You got to be sick to want to listen to that stuff this early.
He has a name. It's Corey. Not former coworker Corey, different Corey.
I have a hard
rule.
We'll
call him Waverly Corey.
I have a hard rule that Christmas music needs to be, it can't start until the 15th of December.
15th?
I'll give it the 15th.
I'm a Thanksgiving night kind of guy.
I'm midnight Christmas Eve.
Wow.
Until 11:59 p.m. Christmas Day.
So your midnight Christmas Eve is in...
You basically get 48 hours.
Okay, 48 hours? Okay.
48 hours.
Interesting.
Does your wife just blast it nonstop then?
My wife!
On a loop?
Oh, yeah. She's
The same 5 songs
got
sung by 30 different people?
Yep.
Jeez, guys, harsh.
Well, it's bad music.
I used to work in a department store, Josh.
Yeah, it
torture.
is. It's
Cry me a river.
It's
It's
literally
torture.
the same 5 songs sung by 40 different people. And B, it's all bad music. Just
Well, I work with you. I'm used to bad takes, so
And they're all the ones from the 60s, too. They never pick any of the new ones.
Oh, I like some of the new songs.
There's never any Bublé. It's all Bing Crosby.
Notice Nick complaining about FM radio music choices. That's why I control my Christmas music intake, Nick, because I'm smart. I use
We could
Spotify
fix that.
like a normal person.
I was
could
talking
fix
about
that.
the
Maybe
department
some
store.
1019 the zone.
The department store I used to work in.
Chuck is next on the Lanahan Nurseries hotline. Hello, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
Curious about the guys that were named as interim coaches. I would think that Bill Bush would be one of those names. Just wondering.
I think Chuck's phone broke up. I mean, Bill
Bush is a defensive guy.
He is, but
and a special teams guy.
Right.
So that I assume that's why he was not named as a assistant coach with any of those spots.
Now, there's always the possibility. Listen, I think there's going to be some significant staff changes based on the news of today, but I believe there may be more than that. I mean, this staff, I think will be. I'm going to make this prediction right now.
Put it on the list.
This staff will be at least half new next year. At least half new.
So right now,
I mean, already at 4.
You're already at 4, so that's 4 out of 10. Yeah,
So
you get one more. You just need one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that I do wonder, because, we were talking about the offense last segment, and there was a tweet. And I'm sorry that I'm not getting your name right now because there's just a lot of people. Oh, here it was. Ryan. I suspect new running back, wide receiver, offensive line, and special teams coordinators, with Frost taking quarterbacks himself. And that would be, like, you always talk, okay, how do you sneak in a special teams coordinator?
Well, it's very easy.
It's very easy now. So yeah, you have a new running backs coach. You have a new. See, I wonder what happens with Becton. Can Becton coach both positions? I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe something for Damon after the season.
Yeah.
But could he coach both? Because that would be one way, and also Frost coaching the quarterbacks. That would be another way. And a lot of this does depend though on what is happening with the offense and what type of offense is it going to? Because let's pretend that it was more of a pro-style offense, a Wisconsin, Iowa style offense. Would Frost coach the quarterback there, or would he need a different quarterbacks coach / offensive coordinator? But yeah, look, if they don't have a special teams coordinator, I don't really know what we're going to do with our discussions about it. It's going to be tough.
Ron in Seattle. Good afternoon, Ron.
Yeah, actually north of Seattle, beautiful Arlington, Washington.
Nice.
Originally from Beatrice. You guys just answered my last question about I was looking for a take on special teams. It's almost like Coach Frost has a bias against a special teams coach or our department, so to speak. And that's always been a mystery to me ever since he's been there.
Yeah.
They have never really had a special teams specified coach, have they?
No.
That's been analysts.
Yeah,
or people helping out.
Or people who have another position.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
The other thing that I don't think there's any way. I mean, he wouldn't be a coach if he wasn't in charge of the offense. I mean, I think of him more of an offensive coach than I think of him as a head coach.
Well, I mean, when he was brought in mainly for his offensive prowess. He doesn't handle the defense.
Exactly. So I really appreciate the brain trust. I listen to you guys more than any local stations here in Seattle. I'm just, Big Red all the way through. I bleed. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you, man. I appreciate you saying that. Along the line of people listening to us, Zachary says, where do you guys rate in comparison to Christmas music played during the same time frame? I don't want to hear, but I will hang up and listen.
Wait, what?
He was making fun of Nathan earlier.
Oh.
You guys wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for Christmas music.
Adam says you can tell Josh has never worked retail. # down with Xmas music. First of all, Adam, don't take out the Christ in Christmas. Second of all, I'm a Christmas guy.
Oh,
I
that's another thing.
I never type out
You know,
Xmas.
This is another thing.
Christmas.
This is another thing we need to say.
What are you
even
gonna
though
say?
we don't agree with
I'm
Trev's
serious.
decision.
I say Christmas. I don't say Xmas.
Well, no one actually says Xmas.
You
They only
stop
write
typing it out.
Yeah,
it's
but
lazy. You're being a millennial, John. Lazy. Christmas. It's 4 extra letters. 4, or is it 5?
But this is another thing that we should be thanking Scott Frost about. Scott Frost and Trev Alberts about.
What?
Because
The war
we
on
have
Christmas?
not spent any time today talking about
the Cowboys.
whether or not Nebraska should be playing 2 different national anthems before basketball games.
That's very kind of him. Or Aaron Rodgers.
Darn, we ran out of time. We won't be able to talk about it. That's a damn shame.
Or Aaron Rodgers. Christmas, not Xmas. Christmas.
Here is Sean.
Also, I have never worked retail. He's correct. Anyway.
Good afternoon, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Sean.
Sean is gone.
Oh!
Jeez.
I literally
Nick,
just
what did
hit
you
the
do
button.
over there?
Why,
That was terrifying.
That was a fun noise. Sounded like Sean was dying. Sean, call back if you're okay and alive.
Sorry, Sean.
My God. Nikki, I want to mark that. I want to listen to that again. That was
Here's
great.
Mike.
I don't need to market it.
Hey, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, good evening, Josh and John. My comment, it literally scares me that I don't like the fact that we restructured his contract. I felt just based off of merit, he should have been fired, and I think they should have started anew. The fact that they're firing all these offensive coaches, you guys have brought up in the previous segments about the transfer portal and losing some of our own people. I mean, if you lose Betts, I could see that. Manning, your offensive line is already young, and now, you were saying all your offensive coaches are gone. That kind of gives you the hint that Martinez won't be back next year, and I'm fine with that. But as fans, you also kind of have to look at who the hell is in the quarterback room now. I mean, you got 3 guys, Smothers, Masker, and Harburg, and then you got Torres coming in next year, none of which have started a game, have very many pass attempts in the game. So now we're going to start off with a brand new offensive coordinator, the same, maybe you get Prohaska back, so maybe your offensive line shores up a little bit. Question marks all over the field at wide receiver, what you're doing at running back. And now to compound all that, you're going to throw in either a redshirt sophomore, and that's if Logan Smothers stays. I agree with you. I think that his name is probably already in the portal. But then you got Masker, Harburg, and Torres, who I don't think will be ready to play next year. Even if he is, you're talking a redshirt sophomore and a redshirt freshman and a true freshman, all of which haven't started a game, and now they're going to be expected to go out there and be our starter. And I mean, John, you said 9 wins. I would go down there and shake every one of the coaches' hands if they got 9 wins last year. I think over under on them for wins next year with a brand new starting quarterback and a brand new offense. I mean, I hate to say it, but 4 or 5 wins. I mean, I can't see it being any better than that, starting brand new with just unproven quarterback play.
Mike, great call. Thanks.
It's interesting, and this is going to be the question of the offseason, and maybe Trev will answer it in 20 minutes when he's on with Husker Sports Radio, which, as you mentioned, you can hear on our sister station in Lincoln, KLIN. But is this a 1-year thing or a 2-year thing? Does he get, does he get 1 year? And he probably won't say a record, but hey, we got to have improvement. Will he put any of that on? My guess is no. I just don't think that's how Trev operates, but maybe I'm wrong. Or will he outright say, yeah, this is 2 years? Because if it's a completely different offense, that's going to be some built-in cover if they want to use it. If they want to use it, I think that, by year 5, I don't really know if you should be able to do that anymore. But he's certainly the boss. So I wonder if they will allow that built-in cover to be used. We'll see.
Sean is alive. He did not get mauled.
Thank God.
In the phone stream, Sean.
Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Hey, Sean. Yes, I hear you loud and clear.
Glad to hear that you're still alive.
Yeah.
Are any of us truly alive, John?
Oh, great question.
After last night, I don't feel alive.
Okay. So I have 2 main points that I would like to discuss. First of all, Josh, I agree with your take on Christmas music.
Nice.
You have to cultivate your own library of Christmas tunes.
Yes.
And then you can, access that when the mood strikes you. However, Xmas, you need to Google the history of that term because X actually stands for Christ. That term predates people taking the Christ out of Christmas. I'm not even a Christian, and I'm saying that.
You got
But
schooled,
we don't
Josh.
I got roasted by an atheist.
We don't have to talk about. I didn't say I'm an atheist.
Oh, okay, my bad, Sean. I didn't mean to put words in your mouth.
Okay, number 2.
Yeah.
I think that actually, hey, I think this whole call is number 2, huh? Like, there's so we're replacing basically our entire offensive staff outside of the one guy that we kept, and Frost. So, and you know what? Running backs coach, I don't care. O-line coach, I don't care. I think that we'll be able to find people who can fit into the mold and hopefully make a difference. But the big question is that OC, offensive coordinator. Who are we going to hire? I got one word for you. Chip Kelly. I'll take your answer off air.
I mean, he's still a head coach. That'd be pretty cool.
You mean another of the flailing class of 2018 coaching hires?
Well, yeah, he is still a head coach. By the way, Ryan Held put out a tweet earlier. His account is now locked, but it is still available, obviously, for those who follow him. He tweeted, "Thank you, Coach Frost. You believed in me. You gave me my chance to coach at the Division I level. I love Nebraska dearly, always will. I wish the program nothing but success. Thank you to the coaches, players, and fans. There's no place like Nebraska. #GBR for life." That is,
yeah. I mean, and I don't know. We've been talking about a lot of other things. It's never great, even if you believe that some coaches needed to be replaced. Again, when very, 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 very rarely when coaches get replaced, they got replaced because they held any malice for the job that they had or the people they were working with.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
These were guys who worked hard at their jobs, wanted to succeed, and wanted to succeed here. And
especially 2 former Huskers got fired today.
And we should never, ever lose sight of that. Ever. We do have a tendency, and I'm as guilty of it as the next guy, to demonize people that we no longer feel are fit for the job.
Yeah.
We did it with Callahan. We did it with Riley. We did it with Pelini. Some we're doing it with Frost now. And listen, these are all good football people. And they did their best. Sometimes, though, your best isn't good enough.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap up our coverage on the video stream.
What a day.
Thank you for everyone who was out there watching along. When we come back, one final segment, which is the bet of the day.
Oops. Oh, no. Did you have the Rams?
I had to parlay with your stupid Cowboys, the stupid Bills.
Oh, my gosh.
Only the Cardinals paid off. And if I would have known going into that bet that they weren't going to have Kyler Murray and they weren't going to have DeAndre Hopkins, I wouldn't have put them in the parlay.
Yeah. Bet of the day's coming up next.
16-20 the zone.
Hey, everyone. Josh Peterson here for the FanDuel Sports